Hello, and welcome to another week of the Abuse Cartoons live stream. And in typical fashion, I kicked the tripod right before I went live. Let me see if I can... Wow! Behind the scenes. Let me see if I can fix this. It's a little better. But, wow. Sorry, there you go. That was weird. Oh, I can't believe I did that. And I'm also trying to not be so translucent this week. Yeah, I don't know. It looks a little... Hey, Damon, how's it going? Yeah, it's looking a little filthy on the green screen here. Sorry, I can't believe I did that. I almost knocked everything completely over. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, the edge of the screen is still very murky. Sorry to be doing this live, but if I didn't kick things, we wouldn't have had this problem. So I'm trying not to be so bright. My wife, the first thing she said, she saw last week's stream, and she said, "Wow, you are so white," because I was using the overhead softbox, and it just kind of like washed me out. So I guess that was pretty shocking to her. The ghostly Caucasian pallor. All right. But I think we're okay. Excellent. Well, thanks. Yeah, thanks for watching. And so this is just my weekly single panel cartoon that I draw. And we're going to do, I guess, a little bit of convenience store and then a little bit about Mandy. So last week we talked about the, was the 2018 Panos Cosmatos film Mandy with Nicolas Cage. And so, yeah, so I saw that in between last week and this week, and yeah, it didn't, no spoiling it, but yeah, it was great. It's yeah, I'm really glad this movie thing is working out well. I'm seeing a lot of things that I wouldn't have done otherwise, or wouldn't have had a chance to otherwise. It kind of forces me to make time for it. And I just noticed it's on Shudder. I'm not sure. I know they curate it, so it's rotated out. So if you're interested in it, that's a place you can find it. So Shudder is a curated kind of small library of horror films, but they play a lot of like obscure and kind of thematic stuff. So it's well worth checking out. I think there's a lot of good. If you like horror movies, there's a lot of good gems there. Hey Rev, how's it going? Hey Unknown Girl. Yes, doing well as can be expected. It's a brutal hay fever season this year for some reason in Japan. They said double the pollen that there usually is. So people that usually aren't affected by it are really getting blown away. So yeah, a lot of red eyes, red swollen eyes, and people have are scratching their faces and everything else. So on top of you know the wonderful bad weather of the world that we're all masking up for, people are now dealing with allergies. It's kind of ironic because people always wear masks during this season if they're very sensitive, they have bad pollen allergies. So they should have been already set, but the conditions are so much worse than usual that even if you're wearing a mask, it doesn't help enough. So yeah, the allergy medicine is flowing this season in Japan. Hope everyone is doing well as well. It's getting a little more uplifting here. The cherry blossom season's coming. It's going to be a little earlier this year, and we won't be flooded with tourists like we usually are. So hopefully we'll get some nice days. You get about 2 weeks of the whole process, and yeah, it'll be really nice if it's not flooded with tourists. And so that means that a lot more people will be outside, because outside's a bit safer, with not having to worry about spreading anything. So they have drinking parties under the cherry trees. And so there's kind of two styles. You can kind of do it in the afternoon in the sun, or you can even do it at night. A lot of parks and a lot of areas are lit, but they're also just the moonlight. Because the blossoms are basically white, they reflect the light very much. So they're very silvery, kind of ethereal looking at night. So there's a lot of drinking parties on big, blue plastic mats under the cherry trees in this season. So hopefully that will happen more than ever, and it'll be a little uplifting for people, because usually there's so many tourists, it's not so much fun and a little more difficult to enjoy that. So you'll see very often in the parks a big spread out tarp and some coolers and things waiting, and there'll be one employee, probably the I don't know, most motivated or least popular employee, like kind of sitting on like 20 square meters of plastic tarp, kind of holding the place for his company's get together. But yeah, you see that often though, just one lone salaryman waiting for the rest of his coworkers to arrive. But yeah, and drinking in public is is not forbidden. There's no open container laws and things the way there are in a lot of Western countries. So you can openly drink in the park, because Japanese people don't tend to fist fight when they're drunk. So there's not as much bar brawling, and people, people get stupid, but they're more happy drunks. And it's much more this, like the intoxication it's much more, it spikes faster. So I don't know the exact biology of it, but I've heard that there's like an enzyme or something that a lot of Asian people don't have, so they process alcohol differently. So they get really drunk really fast, and then it kind of goes away. So they don't sustain intoxication, and that probably means they also don't get angry. There's not a lot of angry drunks. But I know that's not true, because I've seen kind of the constantly, or not completely true with everyone here, because I've seen the constant, the kind of maintained intoxication of some of the old men in the park, and they get drunk and stay drunk. So who knows? But yeah, that's the one thing. Aside from like cultural things, I don't think biology wise, you can't say, Japanese people are all the same in a lot of certain ways. Yeah, but that's something that, yeah, I've noticed. It's very spiky, but that also means then you can't, you can drink in public, which a lot of foreigners take advantage of, the same way they take advantage of you can ride bicycles on the sidewalks and things here. But yeah, it's a happier season, hopefully, and until we get to the brutal, if we're still wearing masks over this summer, it's going to be another brutal year. Yes. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Rev, they do kung fu. Yeah, it's all karate. Ah, yeah. Yeah, that was the funny thing. Yeah, open container. That's where you see the kind of the classic paper bag over a bottle or over even though they even make those paper bags that fit over a single can of beer, because the police, if you're not showing it, the police won't harass you. Possibly, it's kind of a just do your part. They don't want to spend their whole night ticketing people for open container. So that's when, and so that must have started in the 80s, because that's a real kind of 80s, or maybe earlier than that, but that's a kind of an 80s trope, is the, wino with the bottle in a bag on the street, like in, Back to the Future, and every stupid 80s movie has a, if they have that character, it's always that brown paper bag. Yeah, who knows when they started that, but I think it's just because of the intoxicated behavior is a lot different. You don't get as much brawling. Nice. Yeah, yeah. So I'm not looking forward to another summer of being masked. It's really brutal here. A lot of the sportswear companies and things have tried to come up with a very breathable technology, fabric that still protects you but is more cool, more cool, and doesn't make you feel like you're suffocating in the summer. But they didn't have much success. It was mostly like synthetic stuff. And yeah, there's a lot of the sportswear here is really plasticky, weird, synthetic things. It doesn't mix with, I think, a lot of Western people's perspiration levels. So it's really miserable to wear. Very different style. But so the same thing happened with the masks. They tried to use some of those materials because they have dry fabrics and things that they make a lot of sportswear out of, that supposedly, like, wick away the sweat and it evaporates more easily, but it doesn't make a better face mask. So we'll see how hard they've been working over the winter this year. But yeah, so that's good. It's getting a little warmer, but March is a weird month. By the end of the month, we have the cherry blossoms, but through the course of the month, it's kind of just jumps like 10 degrees Celsius. So I don't know what that'd be, almost 20 degrees Fahrenheit in temperature day to day. So you'll get, or not even day to day, like 3 days. You'll get like 3 days of winter, what feels like it's still winter, and then 3 days of spring, and then 3 days again of winter. And so that wreaks havoc on some people's immune systems. So you get a lot of colds. So you have allergies and colds at the same time, but it's a weird kind of process. And I guess because we get some rainy, windy weather, so things change daily. Always after it rains, the temperature's greatly different. Mm. Hey, Sedona, how's it going? Yes, I agree. Glasses. I see so many people when they're wearing face masks, they have their glasses like pulled down, like, at the edge, as far away from the gap as possible, to try to prevent fogging. Yeah, so people are constantly fogging their glasses, and it's not a good solution. I've seen like silicone or like foam kind of seals. You can put something over your nose that gives you a bit more connection, and the air doesn't go straight up into your glasses. And they also, some of the glasses shops have they do like an anti-fog coating. I'm not sure how well that works, but they always try to upsell you with an anti-fog and UV coating on glasses in Japan. So I wonder if that would solve the problem, or if it's just, it's not quite enough. But yeah, that's absolutely the worst. Sweating, fogging up your glasses, limited oxygen. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the summer here again, with everybody being masked up. So they have announced. So it sounds like they're trying to go forward with the Olympics, but they've announced they are banning foreign visitors for the Olympics. So there won't be any audience, like foreign audience members, and it's probably a good choice because it's good. It would be all Chinese, I'm sure, because I think a lot of Western people would still be a little worried about traveling to Asia, even for the Olympics. And Chinese have, they've been told by their superiors that everything is fine, it's all over, enjoy your life, and so they would probably be flooding into Japan. So it's good that they made that restriction, although that's going to make for a very strange Olympics. I don't know. I bet this Olympics will have a big, strange asterisk after it, because it's a weird way to do it. But they got to get their money's worth for all the construction and renovation they've been doing, which, funny enough, was done like mostly for tourists. Like they built more hotels and redid a lot of the train stations because Tokyo doesn't have quite the capacity that it needs for all the travelers. But now it doesn't need them. It doesn't need it completely. So we'll see. Oh, I've got to lower this monitor. I can't see the chat. Sorry. Yeah, my green screen is looking as bad as ever. Wonder what I'm doing, or I wonder if it's a combination of like the sunlight coming through, and then because there's a desk right behind me, like a work table, and so maybe the light is coming through and it's making that lower part dirty, darker green, so it doesn't key out as well. Hey, Magicos, how's it going? Nice. Oh, sweet. AK5, how's it going? Almost forgot. How could you forget this? How could you forget? And it's Mandy this week, so you don't want to miss out on that. Yeah, so I'll try not to spoil. It's not an easy film to spoil because it's up front. It's a revenge. It's a revenge film, so you kind of know. Just like when people say, "Oh yeah, you can't really spoil the plot of I Spit on Your Grave" because it's a revenge story. So as soon as you know that, you pretty much know the course of events. But so I'll try not to spoil things if people didn't get a chance to watch it. And I saw that it was available on Shudder. I'm not sure how long it's going to be there, but the horror streaming service, SHUDDER. So that's a good source for a lot of horror, and especially like indie stuff that maybe is only at festivals and things. They do a nice job of curating. Yeah, if I ever get probably in the fall, it would be a good time to get a Shudder subscription. But I don't have anybody to watch it with. Most people, and I think it's because Japanese people, they either love or hate horror movies, because they don't think about, and I guess there are some fans, they're kind of rare, but there are some fans of Western horror movies, zombie movies, and slasher movies and things. But they kind of like all Western media. But when you say horror movie here, it's that creepy, psychological kind of building horror, and a lot of ghost stories. Like ghost stories are really popular in Asia. Because cremation is so popular, or so common. It's not popular. Cremation is so common here. I was really surprised that zombie movies ever stuck. But but there was a few years back a good Japanese zombie movie that got some attention and I think won some awards. And the gimmick was they were filming a zombie movie during a zombie outbreak. So the realization of they were, being attacked by zombies took a while. So it's kind of one of those more meta zombie films. It was The Last Cut of the Dead or something. The translation was kind of odd. I don't think the title worked well. Maybe Final Cut would be better. So there was a recent Japanese zombie movie. which is funny. And a lot of the kind of B movies, kind of exploitation-y kind of, I can't think, like more like indie, like low budget, like straight to video indie stuff in Japan. A lot of that they do zombie, kind of imitating the West. I think they do zombie movies, but not so mainstream. Hey Rob, how's it going? It's going good. I hope everybody is doing well. It's still kind of afternoonish here. That's why I think I'm having trouble with my green screen. I'm getting shifting light. You have to figure something out. Maybe I should just do panels. Just get colored panels instead of fabric. Because basically, I have just a shower curtain, not a shower curtain, but it's like the green fabric behind me on clips, and it's, as you can see towards the edge, it's looking a little grainy. Yeah, look at this nice registration. Yeah, it's weird. I don't change anything. Nice. Yeah, glad you're doing well. Hopefully things are starting to, the desolation of oops. Oh, I never received this. Desolation of winter is going away, and people are getting a little more optimistic because the spring here is so amazing, so it'll be nice, except for all of the pollen. I think I talked about before, they say the biggest reason for the horrible pollen problem here is when they replanted after the war, because Japan was firebound to hell, like so much forested land and everything was completely burnt. When they replanted, they planted a lot of yellow cedar because it's a real common building material, I guess. But the pollen of yellow cedar is really horrible. So it's very irritating, and most people are affected by it. So they basically decided that, from 1946 on, they were going to have horrible horrible allergy, horrible hay fever for everybody, which is very odd. So depression medicine and allergy medicine are the two top selling drugs here, which is funny. Yeah, not heart medicine or anything like that. It's all allergies and depression. All right. Nice. Yeah, I wonder why this season is particularly worse. I mean, it just may be a cyclical thing. Yeah. Yeah, Sedona, yeah, you should check out Shudder. I've heard really good things about it. Yeah, so I wonder why. Maybe just just a combination of factors, just to, add insult to injury. But since we're already wearing masks, why not challenge our immune systems with allergic reactions as well? All right, I gotta think of something here. Yeah, I like how this live stream is starting to become, the cartoon drawing is becoming an obstacle to actually talking about movies and eating convenience store food, and I'm subverting my own live stream expectations. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna do this, I don't think. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how things are changing. It's weird though. Once there's not, if vaccines work or whatever, I wonder what the next way to show you're a good person will be. Because masks seem to be working very well for Americans to say, I'm better than you because I'm wearing a mask. So it's interesting. I will be interested to see what the next moral grandstanding will be in the U.S. All right. Yeah. Yeah, that's the funny thing too is I mean, I'm not particularly in religious circles, so maybe I haven't you would expect to hear it, but this pandemic, the one thing that's been lacking, and let me know if you've actually heard this yourself, but pandemic is punishment. Like I haven't heard so much of that as you do with other, you know, like natural disasters and things. Is that old song and dance? It's like, oh, it's just we're just bad people, and this is just, well, what we deserve. I haven't heard that so much, and I wonder just because the scale of things, it's like everybody is bad. Everybody is that terrible because there's not like people weren't particularly spared. Things like HIV or where it's very easy to say point at a group and say, oh, there you go, there's your punishment for your for whatever whatever you're being judged about. I'm trying to think of what other good examples, and even natural disasters. People often say, "This is a weird looking bottle." People actually, often say it must be there must be a reason for it, and I haven't heard that much with our recent. It's not even recent. It's like more than a year old now. Our current situation, that hasn't been the thing, and I guess because it's so widespread and so affecting so many people, that doesn't work. When it's hitting a specific region or a specific climate or population, then you say, there's your punishment. But yeah. Oh, Rob, yeah, hey, hey, Hypno TV, how's it going? Yeah, it's definitely, Rob, I agree. It's got to be very strange growing up in these times because, graduations are canceled. Anything that like is a rite of passage or kind of marks these time periods in your life, it's just like, oh, we're not going to do that this year. That's not a thing now. And so, even weddings and having kids, like one of my students has a friend who just had a baby, and she had really high blood pressure right before, a few weeks before she was due, really high blood pressure. So she went into the hospital and was not allowed to have guests. So she, basically had like 3 or 4 weeks of like just sitting alone in a hospital room because of all the protocols, so visitors are very limited. And that had to be just completely miserable. And yeah, there's just not good reasons for it. So everything is so upside down, and like I think if this goes on so long, people won't even know like what they want, what they want things to be, like what they want to get back to, because it'll start to get kind of confused and forgotten, and I guess we don't need to do that anymore. And the more we let go of like workplaces, like actually driving to a place to do your work, or going to a building to go to school, have a if things start to get broken down like that, and it's like, we don't really need to do that anymore, do we? It's going to be really strange, and you're going to have trouble like, okay, so where am I, what am I doing? Because that was an early thing during the last spring, the beginning of the lockdown last spring. That was a really common thing I heard with a lot of creative and artist friends, is they're just like, yeah, there's no point in doing anything. Like they got really stalled work-wise and creatively because it just didn't feel like there was any point. Whatever they would be doing wouldn't have any purpose or any meaning until they kind of figured out, how they were surviving, or kind of got their head around this new weird condition that everybody was in. But that was really sad to feel that there's no antidote, there's no thing to combat this bizarre condition. I think that's changed a bit, but the immediate reaction that I heard from some people was really sad. It's just like, yeah, why do anything, why make anything, because the world is in such a strange state. Yeah. K5 doesn't need to watch me draw food and talk about food. Ah. Oh, hey, Hypnotic TV. Nice. Nice. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, same thing happened with my daughter. Her timing was really terrible. She graduated university and then pandemic hit. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll work from home. I guess I'll try to, do freelance remotely from people I've never met. Yeah, it's a real stall in your life, so especially yeah, if you're thinking about university, like why would I do that? I don't have any idea what's going to be on the other end of that. Gonna take out a bunch of loans or invest a bunch of money in a school to that's not even going to let you go to the school. You can't even like use the facilities, which in like a lot of different industries or careers, that's the reason you're going. You're going to use their computer lab. You're going to use their film equipment, their recording studio, whatever. That's why you're going to those universities, not because there's a particular monopoly on good information there, but just because it connects you with people that are doing the same sort of thing, and you get to use close to professional grade facilities to do things. You just have access to good equipment and things that you may not be able to afford, or you wouldn't be able to afford on your own. I don't know what's going on here, but yeah, it's got to be really frustrating. So I think a lot of people are going to be making some very different choices than were made in the past for what your future is going to look like and how you're going to pursue your dreams or your ambitions. It's going to look really different. That's insane. I can't believe American schools, it just gave everybody a year off. And I heard too that a lot of people are just kind of not tuning in. They're not logging in to their online school. So what are you going to do? And it's, are the police really going to go after, or social workers or whatever going after online truancy? And is that a thing? And yeah, it's really crazy. Nice. Yeah, so it's a really weird time, and it's yeah, the younger the kids are, that's the one thing I'm really grateful for, and I think all of Asia put such a priority on education. They were just like it was about 2 or 3 months, and then they're just like get the kids back to school, whatever we have to do. Let's see what happens, and there hasn't been big infections or big outbreaks. Desks are further apart, alcohol is being sprayed everywhere, and kids are wearing masks all day. But other than that, school here is continuing pretty regularly. Yeah, so it's a shame, and I think America's got the double problem. I'm not sure how many other countries have that, but they have the other problem of the teachers unions. Because I heard Chicago or someplace where the city was basically saying we have to open the schools, we have to open the schools, and the teachers union fought that because it's like no, you're putting us in danger. So the union says no, we're not going back. So the politics over this is just silly. It's damaging kids, and that should be the priority. So you're going to have this weird hiccup, this weird like defect in the people's educational career, or their there's just a year missing, a year that they didn't quite get the same level of education that a lot of other people got. So it's crazy. Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, Hypnotic. That's great. I'm glad you're back with a new a new more concise name. Very cool. Yeah, and I'm still doing the board game and RPG stuff on Idle Red Hands is the other YouTube channel with all that stuff. I think I put it in the description of the stream, but that stuff's still going on. And we switched to a it's still a short, less than an hour, kind of like a 30 minutes, 40 minutes. But every Friday around lunchtime in Japan, so like evening or afternoon of the previous day, I guess. In other places, we do like a discussion, like a couple of topics about what's going on with tabletop stuff, board games and stuff. So yeah, that'll be tomorrow. So I'll be doing a little bit of that tomorrow. So yeah, look on Idle Red Hands for that and to get notified for when that goes live. And I'll stick around after. So the person that I do the live show with is just using their lunch break to record, and so I'll man the chat and like answer questions and stuff after the initial recording. Wow. Yeah, yeah, I can imagine people are just giving up. That's really cool. I think that's good to see that a state like Texas is just like, okay, we're done doing this. So if this is just a political game, we're done playing this game, and let's get back to work and get back to school. So I'm curious, and right away, as soon as the governor of Texas made that announcement, so many people like the little spineless twit in California, like, oh, I can't believe how terrible they're. I forget the words he was using, but it's just like endangering and threatening and irresponsible. And who said? Somebody said Neanderthal. Was that Biden? Somebody that was in the news for a little bit. Somebody said the Neanderthal thinking. It's like it's just a game. I've been playing this game for way too long. Oh, thanks. Awesome, Hypno. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for yeah. So you'll get notified when we go live, and yeah, that's been fun because that was the one thing I hated about that live weekly show or that weekly show before it was live. Recorded it and I had to edit everything, and the sound quality is better, of course, when you can clean it up and edit it. But I just like started getting so far behind. If we talked about something that was time sensitive, the video would go up, the day after, the Kickstarter ended or the thing was released or whatever. Nice. Nice. Oh no, I can't imagine what this looks like on TV. Yeah, yeah, I think that's, and I think for Americans especially. Did I talk about this before? They on Japanese TV they talked about this, the kind of uh, cultural difference or the so I guess societal and social differences between Western countries, and they specifically focused on America. So the difference between America and Japan and how differently masks work because of how people communicate through facial expressions and gestures and things. And so Japanese people look relatively expressionless to Western people because, from their nose down, they don't make a lot of faces. And the language itself, you don't have to move your mouth very much to speak Japanese. It's a very minimal mouth shape language. So most of the expression is in the eyes. So a mask doesn't affect that. And so it culturally works pretty well because people don't look too bizarre, too mysterious. They look fine because a lot of the communication is through your eyes. That's why, like, excessive eye contact is a little disturbing here because you're communicating a lot with your eyes, and too much contact means something. You're being very aggressive. But I think the opposite is true. There's so much when you're speaking, because when you're watching like people on TV or whatever are being interviewed with masks on their mouth is moving so much, and the mask is like falling off their face. I mean, mostly because Western people have pointier faces, bigger noses, narrow, more projecting features, and so the mask is always coming off your nose and rubbing your face and everything, and but you're losing all that expression, a lot of smiling and a lot of facial expression. And I think the like parents' communication with children and stuff is lost. Sorry if I already talked about this, but they specifically addressed that and said, that's why people socially are so resistant to masks in the West, because a mask is just, hiding your identity and making yourself more mysterious. And, it's associated much more with robbing a bank than it is health, in the US. And so that's why it is culturally having a big effect, and people are having a strong reaction to it. And it's not because they're being difficult or they're being weird or whatever, because it culturally does not work the same way. In Asia, it works much differently than it would in a country like America. And so they were talking about those differences, and that was really interesting. I never thought of that before. How interacting with people and smiling at people, that's a very big difference. That if you're not seeing somebody smile, you're kind of guessing they're smiling, and maybe from their eyes you're kind of trying to guess their expression. It takes away a lot of communication, so it isolates people a lot more. I just love that American politicians wearing masks all look like thieves anyhow, so you really get that feeling of they're just in it for your tax money. they're just stealing your tax dollars, and now they're wearing masks while they do it. So I thought that was a really interesting point that I never would have thought of. And why is it so controversial? Like, why are Americans, why is it such an issue? And it's just because it's not compatible, kind of culturally. So yeah, Japanese they always have funny things like that on, and I guess because they don't have the restrictions, like they don't care about focusing on racial things or cultural things and comparing themselves, because Japanese culture or whatever is the default here, and so there's not people to get offended. There is a constituency of foreigners here, and there are protests and people, there were Black Lives Matter marches and things even in Japan, but there's not they're not afraid to talk about those differences, and for better or worse, they'll focus on biological or cultural or whatever differences between the Japanese kind of default and other countries. And so that's interesting that they can do that, because you won't see that kind of comparison in the US, because people will be afraid of what they're going to touch on accidentally, or what the kind of qualitative differences they're going to make, which is better then. So Japan doesn't, I don't think ever. I mean, I guess that by default they're saying Japanese everything is better. that's the default. So once you get past the fact that they think everything they do and the way they do everything is better, but then that makes them less afraid to compare. So you're not saying, oh well, America is stupid or foolish because they are doing this. No, it's just different. It's just a cultural difference that makes masks less compatible. So yeah, I thought that was interesting, and they do a lot more of that here, because they can. There's not it's not so complicated, and it's not like, oh, so you are going to now use this to refuse me access to resources or whatever. Yeah, it's that those kinds of things don't come up the same way they do in the US whenever you talk differences. Yeah. So sorry if I couldn't remember if I talked about that before, but that came up with a couple of friends. We were talking about that, and very different thinking. So so don't worry that masks are such an issue in the U.S., because it's just a thing that doesn't work very well. And so that that also means that America can't switch to that. It can't switch to, well, we don't have to have flu vaccines anymore if we're always masking, and allergies will be less, and this will, we can't do that. Like, it's just not going to be an option. Unless they switch to those creepy acrylic face shields. I remember early, there were early advertisements as soon as masks became standard. People doing like weird acrylic things, and so things you're breathing into, so they're fogging up, and like, that's ridiculous. So you can see people's faces, but you're also seeing like condensation like accumulating on weird plastic face screens and stuff. That was really bizarre. I don't think that stuck around. I still do see people wearing the kind of the medical visor, that big piece of plastic on a little clip. It looks like a clear welder's mask or something. But that thing that doctors use and things, especially for like blood splatter. There's still people wearing those. It's a funny thing. These when everyone's affected kind of by the same thing, it's very interesting how different cultures and different societies react to things. It shows that we're still, yeah, we're not all the same. We've structured things and we think about things differently. Yeah. Oh yeah, with asthma too. Yeah, that's very, it's a very good point. Yeah. Yeah, that has to feel very very strange. Like you, yeah, figuring out like, am I as an attack coming on, or am I just not getting enough oxygen? Yeah, it's difficult. It's all wrapped up. Oh, I think so. Yeah, I think it is, and it's just in the U.S. It's become this signal of I'm a good person and I care about you and I'm not trying to kill your grandma, so I'm wearing a mask. But when you're outside and things, it's not. They still haven't proven that any kind of transmission happens outside because we didn't get super spreader, events from any of the protests or anything. And also the protesters were wearing masks. There was a lot of black bloc and stuff, but a lot of, crowds of people didn't end up, because they were outside, didn't end up spreading things. I think, yeah, indoor and long-term sharing of air and spitting on each other. Yeah, that's the thing that they said. That's the one reason they've made an effort to try to uh, shut down or at least minimize kind of nighttime activity, because they said Japanese people love karaoke, so the karaoke boxes, like being locked in a little room getting drunk and singing with people, is bad because you're spitting on people and your alcohol's lowering your immune system and compromising your immune system a little. And so they've tried to minimize that sort of thing because they've kind of figured out here that that's a big source, that if people get infection and then take it to work or whatever, it's usually come from they went out drinking and socializing. And and especially here, nothing is large. You're always kind of in a confined space, drinking and smoking and talking. No problem, Rob. No problem. Yeah, if I didn't have to drive later, I'd be kind of drunk too. uh, oh yeah. Things didn't get bad in Japan. There was a little bit of like panic buying of so masks, the kind of in a nice level high grade masks would run out of stock um a little quicker here, but you still had access to like lower quality stuff, like even the like 100 yen stores, that like kind of dollar stores here, and everything still had masks and stuff. There wasn't the toilet paper freak out that there was here. And I think people are a little bit more reasonable here because the supply chain is so much more delicate. That they minimally stock because there's just not at most stores and things here, they don't have big back rooms full of inventory, like big loading docks that are full of weeks of supplies and inventory and things. So stores mostly have, what's out is all they've got. They don't have much in the back. In Japan, that's pretty much more standard. So that means the supply is, it's very critical if that gets interrupted. So natural disasters and stuff sometimes cause big interruptions in like convenience store inventory and stock and things. So people are a little more considerate of that. I'm sure if they felt more threatened and actually worried, there would have been a little more panic buying, but it didn't quite happen here. And if it does, it has a much bigger effect because they just don't have as much stock here, because nobody has a big space to kind of keep things. So maybe that's why like you only kind of saw that at Costco and stuff, people buying larger quantities, and nothing really comes in big amounts anyhow, big quantities. But very quickly the supply caught up, so things weren't out of stock. And once we also didn't have the thing that I heard about in the US is immediately like Chinese were hoarding and sending like masks and things back home to relatives and stuff. We didn't have that thing happening here because they stopped the Chinese visitors right away. And there's still there's a lot of Chinese foreigners here, like resident aliens and things, but they didn't have that same sort of behavior. Maybe because they stopped it at various points more easily. I don't know. But yeah, it wasn't quite the empty shelf panic. There were just like, the nicer one is gone. The more expensive ones are sold out. Whatever people, yeah, didn't hoard so much. I mean, not that they wouldn't do that here. I think if there was panic, if it was more a new thing and they got some bad information. So the interesting thing about the supply chain is there's the kind of daytime housewife TV here, kind of like a Regis and Kelly. Regis is gone, isn't he? But they kind of that daytime talk show, and some of them are so popular that if they mention a single brand of something or a new type of sauce or condiment or spice or something, it instantly sells out at every grocery store. So the supply chains are very delicate here, whereas if you can get a little bit of promotion for something, it's going to cause things to just disappear from shelves if it's a very specific thing. So a lot of the daytime shows, if they promote something, because Japanese people shop almost every day, they buy it. If they saw it on TV that day, that afternoon, before dinner, if they go shopping, they buy that thing. Oh, I remember I saw this. And yeah, so they can sell out of those sorts of things very quickly. And then that increases the demand. And then you have this weird thing, by the time the supply catches up, it's not popular anymore. People have moved on. And then you see a big like overstock of that thing that people were talking about last week. So that sort of thing happens, just kind of popular. Oh, I want to try that. Oh, that sounds new. Because Japanese people are so trendy, and they love seasonal tastes, and they love new limited things. It makes people buy stuff instantly. If you say, this is limited flavor, limited edition, it sells much better. So that's why, Kit Kat figured that out. That's why they have like, whatever, 1,000 flavors of Kit Kat, is because all of them are limited because they produce them in batches. So that makes people buy them, and if they are a flavor that matches the season, then they'll sell out. Hey, John, how is it go? Whoa! Sorry, I haven't been looking at chat. How's it going? Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, they do a good job of limiting purchases, and people kind of respect that, I think, maybe a little bit more. Nice. Paper towels. You use paper towels? I think we have one roll of paper towels in the whole house. It's tissues. It's endless tissues. That's the thing I culturally couldn't get used to, is like you spill a drink or something and you take like 20 here, point in fact, look at this. I have sitting right next to me tissues. I don't have paper towels, so if I spill something, I try to clean it up with about 40 tissues. That's a very culturally different thing. They feel that like paper towels are more wasteful or something, so using them for spills, use a towel or something for a reusable towel. But tissues, you use 100 of them. So I see people randomly chew, pulling tissues out to clean something up. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. The hand sanitizer. And then that was the thing. Then like breweries, like distilleries and breweries were like putting out alcohol for sanitizing. And I heard that, was it in the U.S. U.S. or Canada or something, but some government officials said, well, this stuff wasn't approved, by the government, so it's illegal. It's illegal to sell this. So they were punished for actually doing that. Yeah. Oh, nice. Oh, man. uh Nice. Well, yeah, good to see you, John. It's been a while. We got to get together. John is the my go-to partner for visiting Taco Bell. There's only a couple of Taco Bells in the area, so yeah, that's one of those that's a bizarre comfort food, I guess. Is fast food Mexican is a I don't know if you can even call Taco Bell Mexican food. It's just fast food themed, vaguely themed, like Mexican food. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny. I think we use more the paper that absorbs like grease from frying, like from tempura and tonkatsu and stuff. That weird grease absorbing sheet more than paper towels. Yeah, a roll of paper towels lasts forever. Here, I don't know why. Uh, all right, nice. Yeah, that's a funny difference. And a lot of the cleaners too. I noticed like with just in general cleaning stuff, we don't use such extreme. There's like you use bleach in certain situations, alcohol in certain situations, and then they have a lot of like formulations, like really mild formulations of things for cleaning, like the stove tops, the flat kind of IH glass stove tops and things. So you don't have those like really nasty fumes and things. I remember one time moving, I accidentally sprayed a little bit of what is it, Formula 409 or whatever, that kind of default heavy cleaner in the US. So cleaning the new place we're moving into. And I sprayed a little bit into my coffee cup. It just kind of drifted over. And obviously I got some in my coffee. And I was out for the night with like horrible stomach cramping from just like a little misting of this, horrible chemical cleaner. So there's not such the extreme harsh chemicals. I think because people are maybe more sensitive to it and don't like the heavy smells and stuff. So yeah, but I was amazed. Some of that stuff is brutal, industrial strength. Oh, that is weird. Yeah, yeah. I wonder why. Yeah, I wonder why they don't use like vinegar for cleaning and stuff. Yeah, I wonder. Maybe it's just part of the however because there's a lot of like apple vinegar and maybe it's just something that doesn't fit in their little agricultural scheme, and they don't want to import it. Nice. Uh, yeah, very cool. Wow. So, John, we're talking about Mandy later, the Nicolas Cage movie. Have you seen Mandy? And if not, you should see it before the next time I see you, so we can talk about it. Uh, and I watched. So I liked Mandy a lot. Spoilers, and so then I watched Beyond the Black Rainbow, the previous movie. And yeah, wow, it's a lot. That was a lot denser as far as imagery and everything. It had the same kind of like pacing, but really dense as far as the symbolism and imagery and stuff. But yeah, similar tone. And interestingly, I'll be curious to see if the next movie he does is set in 1993. Or sorry, 1983. So Beyond the Black Rainbow and Mandy are both set in 1983. And I don't know what the significance of that is, or maybe it just like means he can do a synthesizer soundtrack. Nice. Oh, good. Yeah, yeah. It's definitely worth it. Yes, let's do a Taco Bell Mandy discussion. That would be great. Yeah, even if we're not going to get a chance to get together for any gaming or anything, yeah, let's definitely do that. Hey, some empty friend, how's it going? Yeah, yeah. The I wonder what the that like. So maybe is it saying like this is same universe, or maybe just there's something focused. And I like 1983 as a choice because it's like it's a year before 1984. Like if that's like this weird marker of the future or whatever. It's like it's just on the edge of that innocent time before before things change. Yeah, it was so nice. Yeah, it was nice to watch a movie though with no smartphones in it. That was the thing that was a little bit distracting about Knives Out is how much it relied on like kind of smartphone gags and stuff, which is going to be weird because just like with if a movie is based on like payphone technology, and a lot of the plot is around that limitation and everything. The same thing is going to be with smartphones. Is that in the watching them in the future, you're just gonna be like, oh yeah, that's right. Everyone ran around with a little piece of glass, that they put their fingers all over. Sorry, opening up some more caffeine. So yeah, it's good to just not have that. That doesn't exist. Yeah, functionally late 70s, right, right. Yeah, it's still that was it. I think that's the thing. It still has that, and Mandy is a really good example of that. It's early 80s, but still the influence because they open the movie with a King Crimson song, so you're feeling like late 70s very much still. So yeah, I think 83 it maybe is that cutoff before it like, oh, now it's 80s, like now all the creativity and the style of the 70s is gone, and the Reagan era is in full effect. Yeah, that's probably the point of it. Yeah, yeah, 70s, and oh yeah, that's it's really good. I wish I could show more images from the, so I won't make the same mistake of playing the trailer again. Although I got all of those copyright claims lifted from both Facebook and YouTube because yeah, it's fair use. Playing a trailer is fair use, but I guess their automation is always going to catch it and stop it. So yeah, I didn't get anything taken down. All the claims were lifted, but it's going to interrupt the stream, so I won't do that anymore. Even though that's so cool, there's such great imagery in Mandy. I'd love to have that like playing in the background, or at least be able to point to some of it. But yeah, there's really good otherworldly environments and things that work well. Nice. Ah, yeah, very cool. Yeah, yeah. So it just I guess it just grabbed something automatically. Maybe it was just enough, like some shots or whatever in the trailer were just enough, and there wasn't any well, I don't know, because I was covering it up pretty well though, because I was in front of it and there was the poster. Like I was disrupting the image as much as possible, but it saw enough that it just suspected that I was trying to stream the movie. And maybe they set things really tight like that because of people trying to like live stream the Super Bowl and stuff. They want to shut it down as fast as possible. But yeah, yeah. So it was fine. It came right back, and no damage to any of my accounts because it was a trailer. But yeah, so I guess for some reason, yeah, some companies have that pretty tightly set because yeah, when we were playing the roller coaster movie, the video, the demonstration, the Scream Inside Your Heart, how to ride a roller coaster in the age of bad weather. They didn't that didn't get blocked, and a lot. And when I was doing the Japanese Christmas commercials, that didn't get copyright. I don't think yeah, a lot of anything but Nintendo is probably not going to get blocked here, or blocked on the US YouTube. I had no sound though. No, yeah, I knew that. I knew sound was really easy. Like Content ID can pick up sound. So I muted the trailer, and it was literally a background. So I had a bunch of stuff in front of it, and it just cycled like the first default official trailer, and yeah, so maybe yeah, it was something though, and just immediately it blacked out. So I didn't know that the YouTube was completely black, and just with the stream is offline. And so it was it some empty friend, somebody switched over to Twitch and said, yeah, you've been down for 30 minutes on YouTube because of the trailer. But yeah, Twitch didn't catch it, but it was reinstated. So the archive was reinstated. That whole section was there. I didn't have to cut anything out or anything. So still learning how the and it's going to keep changing too, I'm sure, as YouTube gets more and more whatever they're doing, infected by the The corporate powers. Yeah, so I thought I was being so clever by, interrupting the image, masking it. I didn't flip it. Maybe if I flipped it, that would have helped too, is just reverse the image. Maybe that would have helped. But yeah, no sound, and they still got me. All right, so I haven't hit on anything yet. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard, what was it? Somebody got, yeah, the sound thing is so sensitive that some people like singing a song, if they're in key enough, or they, I guess if they sound close enough, singing a copyright song can actually get you dinged by the content ID if your voice is good enough. I've heard that happening to people, so that must be the audio part of it must be really sensitive. Yeah, I still remember the days when YouTube just said, "Yeah, go ahead, get in line and sue us." And they didn't. They were real slow with taking things down. There was no content ID or anything, and everybody was threatening to sue them. So it was just a big get in line, and then eventually they. That's amazing that they survived that though, because that would have maybe a company that wasn't, backed by Google or Alphabet or whatever, whoever is actually in control. It's amazing they made it through that, because I think any smaller, and obviously any smaller competitor has not been able to survive that. People abusing that platform, yeah, they didn't. Nobody's gotten past that point of satisfying the movie studios and the recording industry and stuff. Yeah, right, right. Right. Yeah, that's less data, right? Yeah, it's just the wave form that it can look for instead of the, yeah, what it would have to analyze for an actual frame of video. Oh yeah, right. That's right. After they were up, that's when the whole position was, and Google got that. Google got the judgment that, oh, we're a platform, we're not responsible for what our users put on. That's right. And then it became right. And that was a funny thing, because I worked in a lot of companies in LA that were trying to make those deals, and hit on a very small scale, kind of the same time Netflix was trying to do it, negotiating specifically with the studios to get the rights to stream stuff. And they were, only letting go of like really random and, not very popular things. I forget the name of some of the platforms, but yeah, they were trying to make those deals, and that's another thing. Netflix is another amazing success story, because the money they pay for just a few months, like per month of licensing these movies for streaming, is insane money. It's just millions and millions and millions. Yeah, right, right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's amazing. What's going on? I wonder. Yeah, Apple and oh, that's right. They're doing Apple Plus though. So they're trying to stay on top of things, because they have their own streaming service now with original content. But I don't have an iPhone, so I haven't been keeping up. I just have an ancient iPad, so I haven't updated anything in a long time. Because the older your iPad, the more punished you are for actually updating the software. Nice. Yeah, yeah, that was a weird, like, I don't know. I wonder, there's probably like a few specific deals where that kind of was the tipping point. It's like, okay, well, if they're going to do it, then, everybody kind of fell into it. That's right, Disney. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, their mail service. And then there was like a game a company that was trying to do that with video games too, like discs through the mail. Yeah, so yeah, Netflix was originally that. And remember that moment where Netflix said, "Okay, it looks like streaming is the future. Let's separate the disc mail service from Netflix," and they named it like Netflix Quick or something. There was some really stupid rebranding of the mailing service, and they kind of said announcing the new name for discs in the mail, and then they just got rid of it. Yeah, I still remember that. Quick, that's right. Yeah, yeah, they're rebranding. It's like, whoa, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's really funny. That's such a funny thing, and it didn't last all that long. But yeah, still remember like your queue, and Netflix still has a queue, don't they? But your queue, and then we automatically send you the next disc in your queue. Keep it for as long as you want. Just keep paying us every month. Uh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, things like TiVo and Netflix sending you discs in the mail, that's going to be something hard to explain to our grandchildren. We would get this little envelope that we had to rip off the front of, and inside was a movie on physical media. Ugh, jeez. You're making that up, Grandpa. Why would anybody ever waste all of that energy and fuel and human labor to bring a piece of physical media to your house in your mailbox? Yeah, TiVo was, and just that sound too is very nostalgic. That's right, and that's when everybody started to watch things not. And I guess that's what made streaming kind of inevitable, because everyone was already kind of what they're calling time shifting or whatever. Like nobody was watching things at the same time anymore because they were using DVRs to record everything. So already that event TV model was disappearing. Yes. Oh no. Yes, fast forwarding. It's crazy. Oh, that's so cool. Yeah. Yeah, hacking TiVo. That's right, because it's just it's ready. What kind of files did it write? Like an MP4? I don't know if that even existed then, but did TiVo write files onto the hard drive that you could actually see on a PC? Oh, that's really cool. Wow. Yeah, magnetic tape. Uh, those were the days. I miss that hiss, like you have to have the high band filter on your Walkman, or all you hear is tape hiss. On a lesser Walkman, you just hear tape tape hiss, and your music in that, embedded in that. Yeah, but taping each other's tapes and stuff. Yeah, and like generations, like passing around videotapes. I miss that kind of weird culture, like seeing the El Bud Dwyer Bud Dwyer video and stuff on like fourth generation VHS. Oof, those were the days. Okay, what am I doing here? Oh, that really dates me, doesn't it? If I'm talking about seeing that particular piece of snuff on VHS. Yes. Yeah, it didn't. I think one of the more famous guys died, right? Yeah, I think I thought so. That In a World guy. One of those guys, I think, retired or passed on. Oh, MPEG 1. Wow, yes, MPEG video. That's cool. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. The graveyard of technology. That's fun. The what they call, the recycle shops, kind of the junk shops in Japan. It's really fun to see, like, old laserdisc players and reel to reel tape players and stuff in some of the junk stores in Japan. Some stuff is in like surprisingly good condition. If I knew anything about repairing electronics or whatever, that would be great. To it'd be a really fun hobby here, because people kept stuff in nice shape. Ah, yeah, yeah, right, yeah. Thank you, some empty friend. Yeah, Don LaFontaine. That's right. Yeah, so that's why we lost that voice. Yeah. Ugh. Just keep losing people too. That's really really bizarre. Like the like that in memoriam little segment on the Oscars and stuff. It's going to get more and more depressing, and like people that you feel are actually younger and younger. Like it's not going to be all people from the silent film era or whatever. It's like people, whoa, that's TV from my childhood or whatever. It's starting to get really depressing. Wow. Yeah, that's great. Oh man. You should have been one of the earliest live streamers, John. You could have been a yeah, if everything was yeah, that's right. Because TiVo had that because it was constantly recording. That's right. So it's constantly, because you had the little delay where you could skip commercials and things because you're actually watching the recorded version. Yeah, that's cool. Really? Wow. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I'm sure it gets more and more. Oh, really? Wow. Weird. Was his death like probably overdose or something, right? So was his death something controversial about? That's crazy. Wow. Very weird. Yeah, I wonder what the politics are. Or maybe it's just, somebody dying so young is even more depressing than watching someone's silent film uh, greatest scene, their scenes from their early films. Uh, yeah, it's amazing. Oh, suicide. No, sorry. Yeah, yeah. That's right. That's right. No, I was having trouble placing his name. Wow, I wonder why. Yeah. Ah. Wow. Yeah, apt people. That's right. Yeah. The film Bryan Singer was sued over. Ah, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, it says, yeah, this entertainment article is saying, yeah, heroin overdose. Wow. Yeah, it's really weird. Yeah, it's too bad yeah, how they make the kind of politics in Hollywood and how they make those decisions, and it's like everyone is basically implicated in a lot of horrible things that are going on, but because they have to, you know, keep everybody, and if they want to keep working, they have to keep everybody on there. It's too detrimental to your career to make any judgments or refuse to work with anybody. I guess it's changing now, but yeah, for so long, so many people got away with so much because it's like, but I can't burn that bridge. What if? Yeah, But it's just depressing to think, like, what's involved, or what was permitted to be able to see Pulp Fiction or whatever, for those kind of projects to happen. What was actually, what people endured and turned the other, they ignored in the process. Yeah. All right. I'm not getting any closer to an idea here. Yeah. All right. So I don't want to do packing materials jokes, do I? Yeah, so what was last week was luggage and something. Sandwiches? Something, I forget. I'll try not to repeat myself. Although it's, right. Oh, sandwiches. Yeah, it was lunch. All right. So let's just not do that. Right. Wow, that's so bizarre. That is still a mystery of how, why Bryan Singer is so protected. Yeah, those open secrets of Hollywood are very disturbing. Oh, all right. That doesn't. Yeah, I just said I'm not going to do something like from last time. Okay. So that was kind of a pillow thing. There we go. Oh, wow. Oh, that's awesome. Nice. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, being able to capture video at that time. That's really cool. Oh. All right. So mysterious things delivered. The box actually isn't big enough, is it? For that to have been inside. Oh, here. Cyberpunk food. Yeah, right. I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to draw bubble wrap or packing peanuts, do I? Oh, but I could do, let's see, those weird air things. Yeah. I think Amazon uses these a lot. Those weird little air-filled like that sort of deal to oh, maybe not that, to cushion things. Then you just have to pop them to throw away the plastic. Okay, yeah, so we can have a what is the product and what is the packing material? A little bit bigger. Something, yeah. A few more of these. Something like that. There we go. I gotta be careful to close these lines. So they're not gonna fill. Oh, and that's right. These are kind of not quite clear, but got some translucence to them. Yeah, something like what is the product and what is the packaging. That might work. Oh, that had to be an awesome sound. Yeah, that's right. All of those little pockets. It's like super extreme bubble wrap. That's right. Air pack. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, we're getting the Snyder cut. That's really bizarre. That like we're getting what 4 hours of 4 hours of Justice League, or at least an hour at a time. Oh yeah, yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, let me close these up. So if I gotta fill these, it's not gonna make such a mess here. There we go. Yeah, I can't imagine. I think I've actually seen like video footage of that, of the warehouse workers just pulling. They've got a big spool of those air pack and just like pulling them off and cutting them off and throwing them in boxes. I can't imagine how much you have to pack in a day to be doing your job well at an Amazon facility. All right, there's nothing. I guess I can just like weird boxes because I've got, so I can do like a yeah. Or wet books. That's another depressing. That's always depressing. Oh yeah, maybe that'll be good. So this and this. And where's this book? Yeah, that's heartbreaking. Spilling water on a book or having a book get soaked. Yeah. That might work. Yeah, that was the thing here. I was really surprised. A lot of used bookstores, they sell pretty moldy books. I mean, it's just stain. It's just like mildew stains and molding stain. But I guess because it's so wet here, they can't avoid a lot of that. And I haven't ever seen. I mean, I'm not like a used book collector or anything, but I hadn't seen that before in the U.S. Like selling very, very stained, very, very obviously mold and water damage, but repaired or at least dried out books. There's a lot of stuff for sale that was very, very moldy looking in the Jimbocho area in Tokyo. Is a big like used book or bookstore area. Oh no. Okay. we need we need to get to Taco Bell. Snyder truth or take. All right. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Tenet. That was a nice surprise. Yeah, I enjoyed that film. I guess if and I don't have enough I don't know what it is, like OCD or some kind of like you know, something that makes me not in, like if I catch some details like, oh, that doesn't really work or that doesn't really make sense, it I can, my suspension of disbelief is pretty impressive. I can suspend my disbelief over almost anything. And that especially works well with the Christopher Nolan movies, where one detail doesn't, like, oh, come on, that doesn't work, that doesn't make sense. So once he starts his little gimmick in the film, I can kind of go along with it. And so Tenet is definitely one of those films. You just have to roll with it. But yeah, I enjoyed the just the weirdness of that gimmick, and how like everything, like once you realized everything was connected to those events. Yeah. You would definitely risk the eternity of reality to save Robert Pattinson. Yeah, he was good in that movie. I've liked him in everything I've seen him in after the Twilight movies. I don't, yeah. Because the first thing was that I'm gonna totally blank. The Jim Jarmusch Metropolitan. Yeah, the so the Cosmo. I'm totally wrong about, I'm wrong about everything. David Cronenberg, Cosmopolis. That's right. So 2012, Cosmopolis was really good. It's basically him just riding around in the back of a limousine. Yeah. He's really good in that, like surprisingly good. And so I wasn't even interested in that movie because, that was still in the midst of Twilight. But Cosmopolis was really good. I think I saw that on the plane, on the airplane. But yeah, there's so many things that I've seen. I haven't seen The Light. Oh, that might be a good, for the movie club thing. The Lighthouse might be a good. That's one of those movies. Robert Eggers. That's one of the movies I wanted to watch that I haven't gotten around to. No, Remember Me. I have not. Alan Coulter. Ah, no, I haven't. Robert Pattinson, Emily de Ravine. No. Yeah, yeah. So it's too bad. I mean, that's like, but it's good that he survived that. I don't think, there's, I don't think Mark Hamill survived Star Wars. And yeah, in certain demographics, I think Twilight was as popular. So yeah, that's cool that he survived that role, the vampire boy role. Yeah, yeah, the Batman. Yeah, he's Batman in the Batman whenever that's coming out. No, yeah, I haven't seen Remember Me. I should though. If yeah, if it's a good performance, I would not mind that. Yeah, The Lighthouse might be a good weird a film that I should have seen that I've heard good things about. So Broken Flowers. And she does, yes. Jim Jarmusch delivers. I can't believe I confused Cronenberg and Jim Jarmusch though. That's bizarre. Uh yes, okay, yeah, so maybe The Lighthouse for next week. That'll be a good thing. I think that was on Japanese Netflix. Yeah, so that's what Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson. Black and white. All right. So we have a tragic spill and unfortunate reading material. Whoa. I do not like I wish you could just switch back to the old, the old ways. The how transform used to work in Photoshop. I don't like the new way. Oh, cool. Yeah, yeah. Cool. I'll take a look at that. Definitely. Yeah, I like inspiration for like moments. I think like especially those stories that the Nmity stories I'm writing. There's like so many of my favorite moments from like little like TV moments and movie moments I've like put into some of those stories because those things just stick with you, and trying to like recreate that feeling is really really fun, or kind of like what that meant to you, or like how that yeah how you responded to that. Yeah, so maybe the lighthouse will be good for next week. We'll see after we get through Mandy. All right, so let me put some color on these. So the water is going to be kind of bluish, so maybe I'll contrast that with a reddish book. All right. Nice. So Snyder Cut is going to be released on HBO Max. I wonder if we can actually subscribe to that here without too much trouble. I can't believe how much stuff is going straight to HBO Max. Or maybe, because they're threatening, Dune and a lot of other things. Do that, yeah, kind of two-tone cover. There we go. Oh, maybe some kind of, not blue. Yeah, maybe kind of orange. One of those little, based on the film. I really hate that. I hate when I'm like behind. Like I miss a trend for a good book that was made into a movie, and then if you want to read the book, the only copy you can get has the based on the motion picture, and it's got basically the movie poster or whatever on the cover. Then those are depressing books to buy. All right. Nice. Okay, so I think this is just going to be water spill. So let me find a good blue. Lord of the Rings depressing. Well, yeah, with the I mean the covers of the books depressing, or the movie, or the story itself. Put the blue back here. All right. Now it's got to kind of be coming out, yeah, from here. And then unfortunately, okay, so and then this guy is, whoops. Oh, I'll have to put that on top. All right, this guy's still full. All right, and then I guess all the, oh, nope, water goes on this layer. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I don't know. I love my, and Mandy's a good example of this, but I really love kind of slow burn, like psychological horror or sci-fi movies. I really love slow, quiet, yeah, kind of nothing happening, but builds to like really weird climaxes kind of movies. Where's the blue? Oh, there. Yeah, so a lot of movies that don't do very well, I end up liking because of that kind of quality. Oh, we're still doing this. Yeah, the what is it? That Brad Pitt sci-fi movie Ad Astra that came out not too long ago. I don't think that did very well at all, but it's one of those like slow burn sci-fi movies. Yeah, I really like that style, and maybe that's why. Yeah, I like Tarkovsky movies and stuff. They're real slow, kind of, yeah, slow burn, tense kind of stuff. So that works well for science fiction. But there's, yeah, like horror and suspense and stuff that can do the same. Yeah, Ad Astra. Yeah, I really like that. I love those that sci-fi with this is like weird, kind of evolving story that builds to kind of a tension, but that the slowness and the quietness of it, I think makes it. I like that atmosphere a lot, especially for sci-fi. Yeah. Nice. He's your Tyler Durden. Yeah, I haven't seen The Big Short. That's the film where various celebrities explain to you how financial markets operate and what shorting a stock means? As long as it's always Harley Quinn, what's the actress upside, and as long as it's her in a bathtub, that's fine. But yeah, I haven't seen The Big Short. Oh, all right. So now I need to make the book look. Oops, the book look wet. I'm not sure if blue is the way to do that. Something. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, that's right. The housing market. That's right. It's all the fun and games of bundling bad debt. Yeah, I'm so glad to not, because yeah, I could have easily gotten caught in that. Luckily, I was divorced early enough that we had already gotten out of an ugly real estate market instead of buying into one. That would have been a nightmare. I think this will work just a little bit. Yeah. There we go. That's a depressingly soggy book. Yeah, but I would have been a ripe sucker for that if we were a young couple looking to buy and going to graduate school and trying to buy a house. That would have been a fucking nightmare. I would have been the definition of bad debt. All right, let's start with this. All right. Okay, so maybe this. Yeah. Nice. Nice. Yeah, right. Michael Scott's in that too. Really? Oh, that's funny. Yeah, boiler room. Mm. Um. Okay. So highlights. Yeah. So make the wet look a little shinier. All right. There we go. Oh, maybe this. I think this, yeah, helps make it look more like glass. Here, yeah. All right, and then some shadow underneath everything, so it actually looks like it exists on this plane. There we go. Oh, it sounds like kids are out of school. Can you guys hear that? All right, there we go. Wow, that's low. I'm going to move everything up. There we go. Really? Nice. So Lena Gomez explaining game theory. Was that from her, taken from her TED Talk? Wow. Nice. Wow. Living off the grid. Yeah, I'll have to. Yeah, I don't know. That's one of those movies I'm just like, when they talk about how, there was rampant abuse. Like, how did this happen? How did nobody notice, or how did this get manipulated? It's just depressing more than anything else. And what's the motivation of making a film about it? It's not like it's not gonna happen again in that same way. I mean, there's people are gonna game the system in a totally different way when it happens next time, and take advantage of whatever loopholes or whatever. Yeah, so I don't know, but yeah, it sounds like good performances and good cast, but yeah, I don't know. Okay, so we're getting there. A wet book, and now a box. Oh, did you guys see that Amazon changed the app icon for the Amazon shopping? And I guess originally it's a brown box with the Amazon smile on it. It's just, so the square is mostly brown, has that Amazon smile that they put on the mark, like that arrow that looks like a smile. And then a blue piece of tape coming down, and they made the edge kind of serrated, like it was cut by the edge of a tape dispenser. And somebody complained and said it looked like Hitler smiling, because it's a little piece of tape with a little jagged edge, and it looked like Hitler smiling. So they changed the icon to like the tape is straight, and it's like kind of the edge is folded, so it obviously looks like tape. So yeah, Amazon didn't want to be represented by smiling Hitler. Yes. Only the internet can have that sort of weird effect on companies. Ah, we didn't mean to have blue smiling Hitler. All right, so that pillow is gonna have to be a weird color because it is. And then these will be just kind of a grayish white. Oh no, maybe they well, what should I do here? Yeah, I won't have them overlap, so I'll just do lighter. Nice. Yeah, right, exactly. uh, yeah. Mm. Nice. All right. So let's. So yeah, that's right. And here. All right. Yeah, this box is definitely not big enough for that to be in, but yeah. We'll overlook that. I shouldn't be doing this so distant. All right, and here. Okay, whoa. So I gotta do, oops, something to make these look, I just maybe shiny will work. Oh yeah, and maybe like this, like the edges of the interior of the bag might help. Yeah, let's try to do that a little better. Yeah, so the previous bag's edge, leave a little, so this makes it look a little more transparent. All right. Nice. Yeah, that's what people, they should just fill them with flammable gas, so when you pop them while you're smoking, you ignite the room. Okay, yeah, I think that'll work. But that green doesn't show anything. All right. There we go. Oh, I didn't do. Oh yeah, I did. I did eyes on that. Yeah, we're gonna have to do a lot of eyes on here, aren't I? So let's do the big shiny parts and maybe this too, so that it reads like it's made from space age material. I don't know. All right. Yeah. That works. Again, let's zoom in. There we go. Okay, yeah, I think that works. Those read. Oh, they should have. Yeah, I should write on them, shouldn't I? There's like a little. They're always. They say that like air pack and stuff, and how to dispose of them or whatever. So I'll do a little writing on them. So it works. Yeah. Do not eat. And then make this disappearing. Yeah, something like that. Oh, I don't know if that looks like writing or just some kind of coloration. Yeah, that'll be text. Don't put in the crib. That's right. Don't let your kids teethe on these things. All right. That works. So let's do some eyes. Then we can read some comments. Oh, one bigger. There you go. So, if I do it there, it looks like it's too mouth-like. Maybe here. Yeah, no, having the eyes be a little wonky on the packing stuff is good. They've been full of stale air for too long. Oops. There we go. So maybe the pillow is sad because it's much not as interesting as the, or maybe no, it's the box. The box that is upset by this. It doesn't know what it actually delivered. All right. There we go. Pictures of dead blue children. Nice. All right. The air pack. My first official air pack cartoon. All right. So I guess we can do, let's look at last week's cartoons real quick. Oh, a question. More of a comment, really. Unfulfilled and empty. Even though it was fulfilled, it was actually fulfilled by the company. Nice. Yes, it is very empty and unfulfilled. Even though people worked hard to fulfill its order in a timely manner. Okay, yeah, that'll work. All right, okay, let me switch over to it has it's been unpacked. Yeah, I've got it. Yeah, definitely do a unpack this joke. sometime. Let's see. There we go. All right. So quick comments from last time. Wow. Yeah, this did okay. Brand new luggage would soon feel the irreversible effects of baggage handling. If you're gonna be practical, whoa, whoa, whoa. That sounds exciting. Flashback to the old Samsonite commercial. Nice. Damn it. It was limited edition. Yeah, right. Limited edition collection. If you're going to be practical, mark your luggage with stickers, straps, paint, etc. that's distinctive, that nobody will pick up by mistake. Yes. Yes, the shiny new luggage. Yes, it's very retro. I don't think anybody buys suitcases that look like that anymore. Okay, and the other one was lunch. Wow, these did okay. Not Sedona good, but they did okay. I think Sedona was in the 30s for likes. All right. The apple professed his innocence in the mashed sandwich incident. New movie said lunch bag mysteries. Nice. The sandwich saved the apple from getting an ugly bruise. How true. Sandwich bravely jumped on the apple to save the chips from a crushing blow. Save the chips, save the chips. You could hear him cry. Wow. People are writing whole treatments for this. Trace him. The ident should be proof. Oh, yeah, right. The indent. The apple-shaped indentation. All right. Wow. Yeah, that did okay. Okay, let's do a couple of randoms. Perky airbag. Nice. Here's an oldie, 2007. After all the trouble, he was surprised that being an open can of string beans wasn't more satisfying. Yes. Oh my gosh, there's only one living thing here, or yeah, one face. Interesting. The rules were not yet established. All right, 2015. It was either the condensation or their miserable relationship that made the coasters so clingy. Clingy coasters from 6 years ago. Sprinkle the coasters with salt. They won't cling. Old bartender trick. I'm liking very old comments. 2020. Maybe you saw me draw this last year. Heavy whipping cream made breakfast a lot more intense. That's right. Nice. Starbucks main ingredient. Thank you, Podog. Oh, no, that was my like. I'm going to go back and unlike everything I liked 6 months ago. 2012, both his ego and fruit were now bruised. Oh, I didn't even bruise the fruit, though. I guess that was beyond my Photoshop abilities in 2012. Good one. All right. And a shoebox. Horrible foot pain was the unmarked price of cheap shoes. To paraphrase the comedy show, shoes, darling, must have shoes. The other one looks like doesn't look like the red one either. Oh. Looks nothing like the red one. Oh, two different colored shoes. How corny. Whoa, and somebody wrote a short story. What? Yeah, this is before the membership, I think. The comment section was a lot more random. Wow. Wow, that's amazing. I think I missed this one last time. 8 years ago, the short story about Carlo and Anna buying shoes. Amazing. Oh, thanks, Unknown Girl. Thank you. They have called me a racist. That many comments during this during the early, there we go, 2014, scented tissues filled the room with a very artificial floral smell, as well as many unused tissues. All right. Oh, that's it. Oh, yeah. All right, one more. Yeah, shipping inanimate objects. Yeah, definitely. All right. Jars with the marker lines felt their use more acutely. Oh yeah, early aughts. Okay, last one. Another early one. Oh, there we go. The old style cigarette case. Her distant memories of smoking in movie theaters and hospitals were all she had left. Remember smoking in hospitals? At least those sort of waiting rooms. That was the thing. Had those little kind of alcove waiting rooms in some of the older, cruddier hospitals, and you could smoke in there with those cylinder, sand-filled ashtrays like at airports. But they have some dingy, tar-covered walls. All right. Oops. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's switch back. It's an old 70s fabric pattern. All right. So, actually, yeah, all we got left is the writing part. So, let's take a minute. Yeah, so, whew. Yeah, so just writing. So I guess we do, I need my convenience store sound back. I don't have that set up here. Oh, the tissue box. Was it really? Let me see. Ah, yeah, that's yes, of course. It's the trans flag tissue box. I'm sure some company is doing that now. I don't know my flags. That's funny. All right. Yeah, so maybe just do the yeah, I'll do it here. Wait a minute. I forget what's behind me. I'll just leave this cartoon thing behind me. Boom. There we go. All right. Yeah, I need to do my little convenience store deal again. Okay, but for this week I found, so I thought these were supposed to be little hamburgers. They looked like little hamburgers, but they're actually the actual look of them is ampon. So like uncle buns, like the sweet bean buns. That's what they're supposed to look like. But look, when they're cut like that, they look like hamburgers. So they look like hamburgers. They're supposed to be ampon, sweet bread, like Anpanman. If you've ever heard of that Japanese character, his head is full of sweet beans, and yeah. But these are chocolate filled ampon. So chocolate flavored snacks that look like tiny hamburger buns, but are supposed to be Japanese ampon. And this is Bourbon, the snack company that's done a couple of other kind of cheesy, gimmicky things. Yeah, smoking, yeah. Definitely smoking in the car with the windows up. Yeah, I smoked on coming back from the homestay in Sweden, so like late 80s, very late 80s. I smoked on the way home to the US, so you were still allowed to smoke on international flights on airplanes. And I even used the little ashtray in the armrest. Amazing. All right. Well, here they are. Well, you can see exactly where they injected the chocolate. I don't know why they didn't do that on the bottom, but it does look like a little hamburger bun more than it does. I guess it's kind of like ampon. And I don't think those are sesame seeds. I think they're just like recreations, something recreating sesame seeds. Weird. All right. So let's see. They don't smell very good. It smells like that kind of sickening sweet chocolate pudding thing that a lot of kids' snacks are made from. I guess with bourbon, The company's not known for their delicious. Oh, it's okay. Yeah, it is. It's chocolate pudding. Kind of intense chocolate pudding, though. Concentrate. Chocolate pudding concentrate inside. But the bread itself is, is more like the consistent, well, I don't know, consistency of ampon, though. That's so weird. It's bread without sweet beans in it. Oh, there we go. There's one on the bottom, so that must have been, that last one was an error. They should inject it from the bottom. Yeah, international flights all the way like in the 80s. Because I guess, if the flight's going to be more than 6 hours or whatever, they let people smoke. Oh, wow. Yeah, I would imagine in Asia too. These are like, they've been sealed in this package, but they're kind of dried out. They have almost like a stale consistency, though. Yeah, it's like chocolate filled little bread balls. It's not recreating anything. It's a very kid snack, I think, because the sweetness is kind of gross, and the look is very confusing. So it's supposed to be. So here's it. Whoop, it's too shadowy. It's supposed to be like a little bun with like little seeds or something on it, which I thought was supposed to be a hamburger. It would be a perfect hamburger because when you bite it, that cross section looks like a little hamburger patty. But it's not. And so to add to the confusion, so if you come to Japan and you can't read anything, and you're looking at snacks and you see things filled with brown stuff, and this must be some kind of chocolate, something, pudding, whatever, it's probably sweet beans. And you will be alarmed. If you're expecting chocolate, you will be alarmed by the flavor of sweet beans. But yeah, I thought these were little hamburgers. They almost looked like it. See? In that cross section. Those look like little hamburgers. But they're not. That evil chef has done some kind of chocolate switcheroo. Oh, they have calcium. And so these are obviously kid snacks. Oh, I don't know if you can see this. It says calcium and vitamin D inside. So if your kids don't leave the house and have never seen the sun, we've injected both calcium and vitamin D in that chocolate paste. Maybe that's why it's so thick and weird. Well, I'm getting my calcium and vitamin D doses. That's really bizarre, hiding supplements in your weird kids snacks. But the chef has got the thumbs up, so it must be good. Very funny. Yeah, so chocolate. I don't know if this is like a thing. It does mark it as chocolate. Yeah, oh, and it actually is saying expect it to taste like kids' chocolate. Oof. Okay, so don't go running out to find the chocolate ampon because they are a trick. They're a scam for your health. Yeah, no, not very good. But it was the front that won me over. Yeah. Wow. Oh, I missed a lot of smoking discussion. Sorry. Wow. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's. Yeah, I think you're right, John. That's why they have to keep threatening you and saying there's smoke detectors in the bathrooms. Don't do it. Don't do it. Is because, and they still have the smoking signs, non-smoking signs, because it was recent enough. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. That's funny. I wonder if the because just like cleaning the planes and stuff would make it so much more difficult. But I wonder if no, that wouldn't be because they have those low cost. They have like budget airlines in Japan, and we're wondering to make it more to help compete. They would give you some option like smoking, but the flights are so short, there would be like no real reason for them to do that. And plus, I can't even sit in those tiny little budget seats. My knees, like the seats are so close. The rows of seats are so close, and they're very narrow, so you can barely get between the armrests. And then my knees won't. I have to literally sit sideways, or they're really, really tiny. Oh wow. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, I think I've seen that's like supplemented gummy bears. Yeah, the gummy vitamins, basically tricking your kids into getting some sort of nutrients out of their gummies. Yeah, yeah. The flights. Yeah, you can't have a long flight in Japan. So I wonder. Nice. Wow. Yeah, they say nicotine is like one of those like most brutal addictions. Much respect. Yeah, I never was a regular smoker. It was just like kind of if it gave me the excuse to take more breaks at school or work or whatever. Yeah, I'm a smoker. Sure, I'm a smoker. If I every 30 minutes I get to go outside, but yeah, but never very regularly. All right, let's write some of these. So, oh, actually, let me switch it over. Okay. So maybe I will use the unpacked joke. Once unpacked. I don't know the difference between high-tech neck pillow. I don't know. High-tech neck pillow and packing. Ooh, packing material was. I want to unpack the difference between high-tech neck pillow and. Whoa, what am I spelling here? Pulking material for all your pulking needs. Maybe not the difference. Once unpacked, maybe just a high tech. High tech neck pillow and. Were I was going to say that the difference was indiscernible. Indistinguishable. Thank you. Some empty friend, you are helping me so much. Indistinguishable. Yeah, it's perfect. Distinguishable. How is my spelling going here? Yes. Yeah, yes. Once unpacked. Yeah. All right, so break that. Maybe here. So once unpacked, a high-tech neck pillow and its packing materials were almost indistinguishable. Something like that. I added a word. It doesn't say almost. Yeah, we're indistinguishable. Once unpacked, a high-tech neck pillow and its packing materials were indistinguishable. Maybe not its and the packing material. I don't know. We'll go back to that, see if there's something that flows a little bit better. Oh, yeah. The benefit. That's good. That's really good. Nice. Yes, the pillows full of that's good. The benefit, yeah, that would be. Yeah. So maybe it isn't the box that said the pillow would be much more sad. Yeah, I like that. The benefit. Yes, yes, yes. So, unclear. That's pretty good. Provided over the included packing material. Let's try that. So once impacted, it was unclear what benefit. I missed a word. Yeah, I can. Provided over the included packing materials. And maybe, yeah. I don't think we need to put the unpack joke in there. It was unclear what benefit a neck pillow provided over the included packing. Over its included. I think I like its better. Over its included. Yeah. Iced tea bot. Nice. Okay, it was unclear what benefit a neck pillow provided over its included packing material. Nice. Yeah, it is the, isn't it? Nice. Yeah, unpacking. Once unpacked. So once unpacked, the benefit provided by the neck pillow over its including. Oh yeah, it was unclear. Okay, yeah. We'll put this at the end. Let's try this. I guess that's kind of passive voice, but let's see. All right. The benefit. The benefit provided by. Once unpacked, the benefit provided by the neck pillow over its included packing material was unclear. It's a little wordy, but I think it's funnier in its wordiness. Once unpacked, the benefit provided by the neck pillow over its included packing material was unclear. Nice. Yeah, and the box is feeling the failure. Yeah, I think that works. Once unpacked, the benefit provided by the neck pillow over its included packing material was unclear. Yes. Long and silly. All right. And here's a wet book. So, or I could just leave the mysterious brand new baggage joke. Okay. So, wet books. So beverages and trashy fiction. Yes. I worry about that so much with the short stories that yeah, it's not it's not so important in these goofy little cartoons as long as it reads funny. But yeah, I think about I worry about that all the time writing the little stories, so that's why it's in my head. All right. Yeah, maybe the that would have been a good name for the cartoon itself. Passive voice. Inanimate objects in passive voice. All right. So yeah, so the tragedy of wet books. So the story's tragedy was felt more acutely by the books. The wet book tragedy. There was a lot of water in that one glass, wasn't there? I needed a big puddle though. Yes. Mm, yes. Very funny. All right. So the yeah, so the how sad. Good, good. Yeah, thank you, K5. um the ending wasn't helped. The now wet book. Yeah, so something about the spill happening to somehow complementing or interrupting the story or ruining the ending. Something. Let's see. Nice, yes. It was exciting and horrified. Yeah, how it was responding to getting soaked. Or the relief of the story's tension was relieved by the perfectly timed spill. Oh no way! Oh no, I didn't see. I saw that he was doing the 48-hour stream. That's insane. That is a lot of streaming. Oh, I'll go take a look at the archive. That's great. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So the what caused the spill, like the now the end of the story would never. Yeah. Excited wetness. Yeah. Do I want to really go there with the wet and excited? Uh, I hope the wetness would make the climax of the story that much more exciting. Or yeah, realizing Realizing it wasn't the story making. It was, yeah, soon clear it wasn't the story making the book. Wet. I don't know, wet book jokes. Oh yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, I can barely do like if when I do like over 4 hours, I'm broken. I can't imagine doing more than a day. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Yeah, there definitely is a good wetness joke. It just has to be well crafted so it doesn't come across wrong. Um, at first, yeah, she thought it was story, the story's climax, or the story's climax making her wet. Uh oh. Yeah, I can't imagine. Ah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, the book wasn't good for much other than being read. Yeah, it was useless other than being read. A book, yeah, didn't have another use. Oh, Thirst for Adventure is good too. Yeah, Thirst. Yeah, yeah. They misunderstood the thirst for adventure as a request for a beverage. Uh, yeah, I like that thirst for thirst for adventure. Uh, uh, let's see. Hmm. Mm. Wet. Yeah. The so might actually so the pages are now stuck together. The book. Yeah. So much. Maybe just excitement. So this was the inevitable result of the book's exciting climax. I don't know if that's gonna work. Um, nice, nice. Yeah, I like that. That thirst for adventure. Wow. Oh, where's my cursor? There it is. Nice. All right. Yeah. So was it the or a throne book? That's the other. Uh, yeah, a book thrown in disgust. Um, knocking over the water. Yeah. Now, not only did they not care about the ending of the book, it was unreadable. The unreadable wet ending of the book. Something about the story's climax, though, might work. I've got enough goofy innuendo. Oh no, not plural. Possessive. Something about this. Yeah, the story's climax. So it'll be subtly. Yeah, so kind of mixing between the spilled glass trying to, yeah, cool down or relieve the excitement of the climax, but also the book being wet. This so something about the climax of the story. The perfectly timed, the opportune spill. So relieving the tension of the story's climax. Oh no. Oh man. Wow. Yes, right. I can just pick up the New Yorker cartoon style captions contest. Yeah, that would be good. So everybody submit their caption, like like submit $1 or something per caption, and the winner gets like the pot. I guess that would be technically some kind of gambling mechanism, but yeah, everybody that submits pays their entry fee, and then whoever gets voted, and I guess I would be the voting. Quick general rundown of this piece. Oh yeah, yeah. It was just yeah. So this is the second cartoon. Yeah, if you're popping in and out, Rob. Yeah, this was the first cartoon that we finished writing. So colored and written. And now we're just determining the what's funny about a wet book. It's more tragic than anything else. I wanted to make it sad. Register your caption on the blockchain. That's right. The winner is paid in Bitcoin. All right. The yeah, maybe I like the tragedy of it, but maybe that doesn't work. Ah, thanks. Thanks, Rob. Yeah, the book is wet and shiny. All right. So now they would never know the I guess the events around the stories. Maybe story's climax isn't gonna work. Oh no, that's right. Yeah, the that's what I have to start doing is doing those tokens. Every cartoon has to have a token now, so someone can buy the original at auction. And you have the live stream of authenticity. Okay. Yes, it is. Yeah, so understanding or realizing that it wasn't the story It wasn't the story's climax making the book wet. It was now clear. Yeah, but you're not reading. The book's not getting read if it's face down in water. Water. All right. So accidental spill. Yeah, I think thirst is good too. Thirsty story. The whole I don't know which way works best. Keep thinking. Right. Yeah, I was thinking thrown book into water. But what happened right before? Stories climax. So a thrown book, wet book resulted in a wet book. All of the excitement. Yeah, that's too. Climax resulted in a wet book. All the excitement of the story's climax resulted in a wet book. The story's climax reached climax. Done. Sex joke accomplished. All right. The wet book was a result of more than the story's climax. Yes. Yeah, thank you, unknown girl. I appreciate the nice the nice stuff that makes this so much more fun. And I guess maybe I'm not as fun to troll as other people, so it doesn't. Yeah, we get the occasional command giver. It's porno inside a math book. Nice. All right, let's do this here. It wasn't just the stories, so not not just the story's climax resulted in a wet book, made the book wet. Yeah. So all of the excitement. Oh yeah? Yeah, I keep fussing with it. Yeah. All the excitement of the story's climax resulted in a wet book. Yeah, because I guess if you don't have a lot of, if you, depending on how bad your mind is, you may not get there with the wet book innuendo. Yeah, I like the wet book as the last. Resulted in a wet book is a funny phrase. Yeah, oh yeah, and also, yeah, that's okay. Unknown girl, I will take your advice. I appreciate that. I will. Otherwise, I could endlessly be fussing with this, trying to make it more complicated. But yeah, no, I think that works. I like resulted in a wet book a lot as a last phrase. All of the excitement of the story's climax resulted in a wet book. So we don't know what all the excitement was. It could have been lots of things. And it knocked over water and it made the book wet. Nice. Well, cool. That works. I will not keep manipulating things. So once unpacked, the benefit provided by the neck pillow over its included packing material was unclear. Good. That still reads okay, and all of the excitement of the story's climax resulted in a wet book. All right. The tragic wet book. Yeah, that's the thing too, is you don't know what condition people are in when they're watching a live stream. They could be very altered in a very altered state. All right, so let me do a quick check of the spell. And it doesn't like my name or the name of this cartoon. By the neck pillow over. Benefit over something. Okay. I think we did it. Let me find the actual place to put these. Nice. Nice. Yeah, John. Come on. We know I'm I'm talking about you. Oh man. All right. So let me close this and one more. Yeah, so let me just do this now so I don't forget. Cool. All right, so almost movie time. I wish maybe the trailer in the IMDb window might work. We'll try that in a little bit. So yeah, I'll anticipate it causing problems and we'll finish the discussion and then look at the trailer. I don't know. All right. So, anyhow, okay. So let's try this. What's the best thing to put in the background here? Yeah, there is a very long trailer on the site. Oh no, it opens into a bigger window. No, that's probably not a good idea. Okay, so let's try the movie thing. Now we'll just talk about the. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna try to. Try to figure out how to do a trailer. Let me see. Well, let me see how this works. So if it gets cut off, then I'll just turn it off. So I will pay close attention to the YouTube window. So let me just silently play a trailer. But first, let's open my insane screen here. There we go. What a mess. Nice. So this week's movie for the Abuse Film Club, Film Abuse, is Mandy. So the 2019 film Mandy. Ta-da! And let me just put this weirdly in the background and see what happens here. So if this gets cut off, I will resume shortly. How can I? Yeah. And I've got I've got a giant Mandy logo I can put over. I can put over everything. There. Yeah, let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay. So I'm going to make the same mistake as last time, aren't I? Okay, so with the wonderful death metal logo for this movie. All right, it's small. It's just in the window. It's covered by the logo. Okay, so Panos Cosmatos directed this movie. This is his second, I think, feature film. The first being Beyond the Black Rainbow. And there's things that this movies share. The pacing is very similar. The tone and pacing is very similar. I'm not sure if it's the same composer, but the composer that did the soundtrack for this was Johan Johansson, and he also did like Blade Runner 2049, a lot of the Villeneuve Devenu movies. So Sicario and a lot of his stuff. And he passed away before this movie was released at Sundance. So it's dedicated to him at the end. And so originally the director was, I guess this had been like a 10-year project, like writing this story or kind of crafting this idea was a 10-year project. And he originally wanted Nicolas Cage to play a different role. So he sent him the script. He really liked the script, but he said, but I want to play the kind of the lead, the revenge-inator. Okay, we're still alive, so I think it's okay. Villeneuve, thank you. I need phonetics from John. So Denis Villeneuve, and so the composer, same composer. So it's a lot of synthesizer music. And there's the beautiful logo that grows and grows into the metal thing. So as you can see, there is a chainsaw fight and a lot of insanely over the top. What am I doing here? There we go. Scenes of revenge. Oh, and then we're just gonna keep. Now we're done. We can't make that loop like we can. Oh, I guess I can just go back. Okay. So it's a revenge story, and so you're gonna know the plot. I'm not gonna spoil a lot of details, but it starts out. So it sets up this relationship between Nicolas Cage and the titular Mandy, and the surprising thing. So Mandy looks like the actress playing Mandy is very kind of haunting in her look, and they kind of emphasize that she's got this like Shelley Duvall kind of sissy spacek kind of half look, the way that they okay. Thank you she's got a really haunting look, and they really lean into that. So her look is not only kind of is hypnotizing and very alluring to Nicolas Cage, but also it attracts the unwanted attention of this crazy cult that are also in the area. So the the funny thing though about that actress, and what is her name? Oops. The actress is. Give me some more information. No. Well, so I don't have access to the actress, but it's the same actress that played Tom Cruise's wife or partner in Oblivion, and I totally didn't recognize her. So no makeup, and the scar on her eye and the long or on her cheek and the long black hair like totally takes you out of it. So I she doesn't look familiar. It doesn't look like I've ever seen her before, but she really was kind of transformed herself in this role and works really well. And so they set up the this relationship of this couple. So Nicolas Cage is like a lumberjack. He's cutting down trees in remote areas by helicopter, and so you see him with a chainsaw. It's like the first thing that you see, and she's at home getting high and drawing fantasy illustrations, fantasy art, and he's really in love, and he's really amazed by her artwork. And she's also obsessed with fantasy novels, so she's reading like old 70s fantasy novels. And so each part of the story, just like the logo you see, that kind of death metal logo you see, is introduced by kind of a logo of a there's Kevin Smith again. Is so I'll shut down the trailer soon. So they introduce each section with what looks like a title from a fantasy novel, and they really lean into the otherworldly look in this setting. So I guess initially the director wanted to film this in the Northwest, either Canada or Northwest of the US, and have that, really heavy nature setting, but they ended up shooting it in Belgium and got the same sort of effect. I mean, I don't think you could really place where this was. It reads, I mean, unless you really know trees, it reads very well as, North America. And they really lean into this like otherworldly setting. So there's kind of matte shots and things that help take this into like this weird other world. So her obsession with fantasy and kind of the whole environment of the film, it seems like her obsessions are coloring this whole thing. And so because it's a revenge film, of course, there's a death that needs that is part of that revenge. So the cult notices her. The cult leader becomes obsessed with her and says, "I want her. Bring her to me." And so she's kidnapped, and Nicolas Cage is tied up while she is drugged. And so there's a great for K5. There's a great there's a great murder hornet scene. So they dose her with they have her tied up, and so they dose her with LSD, like with a dropper in her eye, and then she's stung on the neck by what looks like a giant kind of a puppet of a murder hornet. It's very very articulated, very disturbing prop that they use. And so she's very altered, and so the next scene after that is kind of like more her point of view. So the cult members are in her house, and the leader is just trying to initiate her into the cult, and things take a really bad turn, and it doesn't work. Like the thing that he's trying to set up, the amazement that he's trying to used to the kind of the glamoring and the dazzling he's trying to do by her in her altered state doesn't work. She's kind of immune to his fakeness, and maybe because she is so obsessed with fantastic and fantasy worlds, he seems to her very false or very fake. And so he let's just go back here. Okay, enough trailer. So he disrobes in front of her, and I watched the Japanese Blu-ray of it. So of course they censor all full frontal nudity. So the leader disrobes, and she asks him. So he plays this music for her, and so there's a little bit of like a Charles Manson kind of quality to the the cult leader because he plays this song for her that he wrote that was about him and his how amazing he is. And so it starts to strike her funny, and then when he disrobes, she begins laughing, and her laughter becomes demonic. And so the cult leader freaks out, and of course then all things kind of fall apart. So that leads to her death. Well, her partner Nicolas Cage is tied up outside the house, and so Nicolas Cage is then stabbed in the side by the cult leader. So there's a few kind of like references to, you know, the cult leader as being Jesus but better than Jesus, and this is why, and talking about sacrifice. So the one thing Jesus didn't do is offer a sacrifice, and so he stabs Nicolas Cage with a. There's a lot of like magical items, like magical fantasy items in the, and I just missed a big plot point. I just jumped ahead and missed a big plot point. But there's a lot of fantasy items that have funny like referential names. So the way that that they were originally subdued. So once the cult leader says he wants her, they have to engage the services of this kind of this biker gang murder cult, this crazy group of bikers that look very altered. They look very like inhuman, like very monstrous, and they barely speak. They barely intelligently speak, and they're all like they're all decked out in leather with nobody. You can't see any of their faces, and they're like covered with nails and things. So they've become these like pain maniacs, and you later find out that that was due to a chemist, the guy that kind of produces most of the drugs in the area, overdosing them with some kind of bad acid, and so they become pain obsessed, and they use this biker gang to subdue the couple so that he can claim Mandy, so the cult leader can claim Mandy. So that's the first kind of disturbing scene, and it makes it feel like this isn't real because they have a look almost like the with the Clive Barker, the Cenobites from the puzzle box horror movie, like just because they're covered with black leather and nails and things, and they're very inhuman looking. And so you see them kind of take over the house, and then that's when the cult comes in. Things go badly. Mandy's killed, and then they stab Nicolas Cage in the side and leave, assuming he's going to die from that wound. And then the revenge story begins. So up to that point, it's had a real slow pacing of just establishing their relationship, establishing the weirdness of the cult, and then introducing that, calling this they're called the Black Skulls, this motorcycle gang, in to do their bidding. And they need to use this horn to call the biker gang, and then they need to give them, like, obviously from their stock, more of this insane LSD from the chemist that they have, that the cult has. And so then once Nicolas Cage frees himself, after like they basically kill her in front of him, and after he frees himself, he goes inside the house, and there's a very odd scene where the television's on, because they were watching TV before they went to bed, and the television is on, and there's a fully produced like, so the movie that they're watching was an old Don Dohler B movie on television, and when he comes back in, they produce this TV commercial for the movie of the Cheddar Goblin macaroni and cheese, like boxed macaroni and cheese ad. And so he's in this state, like the most horrific thing that's ever happened to him. He just witnessed, and then he goes inside and just stares at this Cheddar Goblin TV commercial, which they include the full length version of on the disc. But it's it's a very odd. I should actually have searched YouTube to see if somebody put that up there. But it's this really extreme, really bizarre fake TV commercial, and the tone of it is really strange because it takes you immediately out of the horror and the tragedy that you just saw, and kind of the world is still is weird and uncaring and doesn't like there's nothing he's connecting to. There's nothing that like either relieves or you know, acknowledges this pain that he's going through, and he just mumbles goblin and then goes and lays down on the bed. But that's one of those kind of subverting the tone things. A few times that happens, and that also happens in Beyond the Black Rainbow. That also happens. Oh, hey Rob, take it easy, and yeah, thanks for watching. Hellraiser, thank you. Yes, the Cenobites are Hellraiser. Thank you. I gotta be watching the chat. But yeah, so anyhow, so he collapses on the bed, wakes up, and finds this shirt, and he goes into the bathroom, and there's a very bizarre bathroom set with this like really loud garish wallpaper. He goes into the bathroom, he digs in a lower cabinet and pulls out a bottle of vodka. And there was a short sorry. There was a short reference in the opening kind of lumberjack scene where they finished and they were leaving in the helicopter, and a guy offers him a beer and he says no. And there's no more than that. We're going to talk about more than that. And so he fishes out this bottle of vodka and just starts slamming this bottle of vodka and then also dumping it on his wounds and just shouting, just having this like, just over the top, like only Nicolas Cage can do kind of freak out. And so then he changes his shirt. Yeah, you don't know the significance of that yet. He changes his shirt. And what he was wearing before is just his little tidy whities and this shirt with a tiger on it. This bizarre shirt with a tiger on it. So he changes the shirt that just has, I think, the number 44 on it, and he begins the revenge quest. And the first thing he does is visits the trailer of an old friend, like some sort of old acquaintance, played by Bill Duke. And Bill Duke is the guy that was like constantly shaving his face in Predator. He's been in a bunch of other stuff, but the thing that like I always think of when I see him is his role in Predator. And so he's in a trailer, and he's been holding for the Nicolas Cage character, who I'm totally forgetting his character's name. He was holding Red, that's right. So Red and Mandy are the two, or the couple. He's been holding his crossbow for him, and it has a name like the Avenger or the Absolver or something. So he has been holding a crossbow, and his friend is Bill Duke's, is Carruthers. That's right, Carruthers, his friend that was holding the crossbow, has also made some bolts, some razor sharp bolts for the crossbow. So he gives them to the Red. He gives them to Red and asks him what he's doing. And Red says he's going hunting, and that he's going to kind of seek revenge on not only the gang that subdued them, but also the cult that he saw kill Mandy. And Carruthers knows who they are, so he names them as the Black Skulls and kind of gives their origin, that they were dosed by the chemist with this insane LSD that made them like pain maniacs, so they enjoy being in constant pain. And so then he heads back to the house, and then there's a forging scene where it cuts to like that evening, and there's a furnace, like a forge that's lit, and then you see metal being poured, and that shot that you could see from the trailer. Well, let's put something better in the background. You see, boom. You see him pour into this mold this like fantasy axe. It's like a curved all metal axe with a sharp like dagger at the end, and then a curved blade. So he crafts this weapon. We don't have there's no explanation like that he ever did this before, that he knows how to do this at what. So he just crafts this weapon of revenge, and very, very over the top, like lens flare kind of scenes, as he makes this weapon, and then he just heads out because Carruthers said the Black Skulls were located here, so that sends him on his way after he forges the weapon for revenge. And so there's a series of course, him, claiming members of the biker gang as he gets to this point, and the last or in one of the encounters, he finds some of their LSD and just takes a quick little, he just sticks his finger in it and takes a little dab of it and has this vision. So the vision tells him where to find the chemist. And so who made these drugs. And so he has a vision of this radio tower, and he goes to the radio tower, and that's of course where the laboratory for the chemist is. And the chemist recognizes that something insane has happened to him. And during his fight with the Red Skull, like I think kind of the leader, or who we saw negotiate with the cult, is killed, and his blood just covers Nicolas Cage. So for the remainder of the movie, like you see in that image above, Nicolas Cage is just covered in blood. Like all you see is eyes and his teeth, and he's just covered in blood red, the whole rest. And they use the image, so many of the scenes, and especially the scenes of violence, are colored the same way you see not only Nicolas Cage, but also the movie poster. A movie poster is a little more pink, I guess. But it has this tone of red. I'm moving everything around. It has this red tone. And they have a scene, one of the nights where the couple is together, they have a scene talking about their favorite planets. And she makes a reference to Jupiter as her favorite planet because of the red storm that's been churning for 1,000 years and is, capable of swallowing the Earth. So there may be some connection to the red spot of Jupiter and the kind of redness that then all of the scenes of revenge and everything is kind of tinted in. So most of the horror scenes of the film is tainted in this red color, but because Nicolas Cage is already doused in blood, everything is red, and he blends into this redness completely. So of course there's not really any obstacle in his kind of revenge quest. So person at a time, he murders everybody involved in killing Mandy, and gets his finds his way all the way to the leader, and then they have that same sort of confrontation, and the leader does this, and it's kind of like relieving this weird tension. The cult leader kind of jumps between being very powerful and saying, you can't hurt me, I'm your god, I'm invincible, and into this very weak kind of, I'll do anything you want. So it undermines the kind of confrontation of that scene. And of course, the red character takes his revenge and completely eliminates the cult. And then we kind of go back and see, so his memory. So now that he's accomplished this quest, he has this memory of Mandy. And so the first time he ever saw her, that was the t-shirt he was wearing. And he even makes, in one of the fights when the t-shirt gets damaged, he even makes reference to, that's my favorite t-shirt. But it's the t-shirt he was wearing when he met her. And oh, there we go. And so he's having these flashbacks of this happiness. And so he's in the car just basically leaving the scene, and has these flashes of how they met and the happiness, like her sitting next to him while they're driving, and you're just smoking a cigarette. And it's that perfect time back before they met. And one of the most disturbing images, and I think one of the things that is a great contrast and a big relief kind of image wise, is you see him happy and her alive and back in that time, but then they cut to what's actually happening now, and he still sees her sitting there, but then you see that he is still the the murder demon Nicolas Cage covered in blood, and that's where that smile comes from. And so it has this, like, she is approving. She's like, kind of happy that he transformed into this horrible, murder machine for her. Like, there's some like real strange happy ending of that final, that final look between them, like her memory and him. And like they've done in a few other scenes, they kind of pan up, and the sky that you're seeing, so he's driving away on the road, and the sky that you're seeing has a fantasy, like there's two planets and these weird kind of fantastic mountains in the shot. And so they've done that a couple of other times. We're kind of indicating that this is not real. Like, this is a fantasy world. So you don't know. And the redness too, those scenes of the violent combat are also done in that red. So it kind of takes it out of that, or also it's everything is tainted by, his revenge, or, what he's become. They keep kind of referencing that, but the whole thing, ever since she's like, the Mandy character leaves the film, everything has a really, really heavy, fantasy tone. So it doesn't ever, there's, basically no other conflict, or nothing changes except that quest of revenge, from the moment that she's killed. And so it becomes like, he's slaying, taking revenge. He's her knight, and slaying evil for her. And so she, like, her like the aesthetic of her, that obsession with fantasy and that obsession with things being unreal, is just is just prevalent throughout the whole rest of the film. So it's really, really wonderful, like really visually very interesting. And it's hard to tell because there's a film grain to it, so it's hard to tell. And I should look closer in the behind the scenes where they actually show the cameras. And I wonder if it was shot digitally, because it still has an old look to it, and especially when they're doing all the red toning and everything, and a lot of the matting, a lot of the, like, matting the fantasy skies and stuff in it. It has a really interesting look, but it feels old. And they even when they introduce the couple, and they're like their first scene, they give it the date of 1983 AD. And so connecting the so connecting that connecting that time period to kind of what's happening. And the film itself, like the very first scene when they show the kind of setting where they're kind of showing the landscape and where they're living, which looks, just like a heavily wooded, heavily nature filled area. They're playing a King Crimson song, and I forget the title of the song, but it definitely like sets the time period and the tone of everything, because it's more, it sounds like something from a fantasy, like an old 70s like fantasy film or novel. But it's really, but as I was saying, like the pace of it is really slow, and visually, like they use, like once they've kidnapped Mandy and altered her with the LSD, like you're seeing all these weird effects. And also they they show like transformation of the character. So by the end of the film, even like Nicolas Cage's voice is altered. So his final things that he says to the cult leader, he's a monster. Like, it's not his voice. It's this voice almost like the Black Skulls, their weird kind of monstrous voice. But it's amazing, and it has a really interesting tone that the director still keeps like kind of undercutting with like the things like the Cheddar Goblin commercial, or the way that the cult leader doesn't actually have any strength or power, and just like kind of collapses into weakness, and then threatens and says he's an invincible god. But here is, so this is just the slipcase for the Japanese DVD, and I just wanted to show you this because there's something funny in this. And so that's the same movie poster you see there. But the funny thing that they included, so in the Japanese the Japanese Blu-ray, one of the things they included, so here's to give you an idea, there is the Cheddar Goblin. Oh, of course he's keying out, so he's green, but there's the Cheddar Goblin. So that's let me see if I can find that. That's the, because that won't. Okay, yeah. Let's see. Oh, they're playing. So this is from. Okay, so let me see if I can get away with this. So this is the, and where's that logo? There we go. This is the Cheddar Goblin commercial that they watch on the television. So I'll block it a little bit more. So it just looks like the typical 80s 80s kids commercial. And this is just like, he just stops after his partner's been brutally murdered. He just stops and watches the TV, and they show this this Cheddar Goblin commercial. And so they produced this, originally for the film, and it totally undermines like any like the intensity, because it's a really intense scene, and Nicolas Cage is just screaming at the end. He's doing this like soundless scream at the end, or at the during the murder process, and then this is the thing that totally undercuts that mood itself. This disturbing Cheddar Goblin commercial. It's goblin good, and his only reaction to that is his only reaction to that is goblin. But yeah, I really like the pace of it is really great, because it builds really intensely, and doesn't have a it alters the tone a lot. There's like strange little things that undercut the intense, the intense emotion and everything of the scenes. So originally the director wanted Nicolas Cage to play the cult leader, because the cult leader has a lot of like extreme, kind of switches of tone and emotion. He's like screaming and then silently whispering and things. And so maybe he imagined Nicolas Cage's kind of over the top performances would work well for that. But when he read the script, he wanted to play the red part. And I'm glad he did, because especially his freak out in the when he gets the vodka out of the cabinet and starts downing the vodka, that's like, he works really well in that scene. He's definitely seems like one of those actors that if you use him the right way and can kind of get him into the what you want to do with certain projects, he works really well. Because there's some Nicolas Cage performances that are amazing, that you wonder why that's not that he's not that consistent. Because there's also National Treasure and all those things where he's kind of wasted. But overall the visuals are really like interesting and unique. You might get tired of that red tone, but it kind of maintains the intensity. And then once he's covered with blood, like everything being red is really brutal. So Mandy is played by Andrea Riseborough. So Riseborough, she was also in Oblivion, like I said, with Tom Cruise, and she's done a lot of other films, but I had seen her before in that film and didn't really recognize her. And she transforms herself very much. And also her American accent is great. Like Mandy only has a few lines, but the way they're delivered, like you know exactly who she is and what kind of person she is just from how she delivers certain lines. And she's really transformed. But they do that thing with her, like here's the let me see if I can. They do the thing with her where her look is so hypnotic. Like she has, for some reason, she has this scar over her left eye, and there's many scenes where she's just silently staring. She doesn't have a lot of lines, and she's just like wordlessly staring at a character or at the camera, and it works really well as making her haunting. So, naming the film Mandy and having her be so prevalent, like her influences throughout the whole thing. And I think the director, the one thing that he said that the whole film is really about and really kind of obsessed with And it makes sense in like the terms of the cults and revenge and everything is kind of male ego, like the men, the way men transform themselves, or the roles that they take, or or how really fragile that ego is. And I think that's really explored with the cult leader. Like, you don't expect his grand plan of bringing Mandy into the cult to fall apart the way it does, and how like weak and pathetic like all of his power is. And but then how like the Red character, Nicholas Cage's character, his quest for revenge like empowers him and like makes him a monster. But he said that was a really big theme, because except for there's two female cult members, and then Mandy, and then basically everybody else in the film is male, and all kind of have those, have weaknesses and flaws of kind of male ego, like the weak cult members following the leader, and kind of the there's a lot of kind of different flavors and different versions of that. But oh, and so here's the the bathroom scene. Hey, we're still live. Here's the bathroom scene. So that's the lovely this tiger T-shirt, and that's the bottle of vodka. That nice. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Chicken Maruchan. Yeah, and there's Mandy reading one of her fantasy novels. So she basically draws fantasy artwork, gets high, and works in the grocery store, in the little convenience store in the gas station near their house. And there's Red on his revenge. Yeah, so and this is some of the establishing of their relationship early on. And there's crafting the axe, and there's talking that's the kind of scene in the trailer, the famous scene in the trailer, the twisted evil, or the unimaginable evil that he is facing, describing to Carruthers like what he's up to. Yeah, but there's so many kind of haunting Mandy faces in the film itself. But yeah, it's really. Oh, and there's also, so after she dies, he has and see, as you can see, so many kind of otherworldly, and another very hard to see, but another staring Mandy face. And there's the red tone. There's got to be. So that's the scene where the cult leader sees her on the road and becomes obsessed with her. The horn that calls the gang. I was hoping to see. We were basically watching the whole movie in still images. One of the animated. So he has these kind of dreams or nightmares. So there's a few places like he falls asleep right after the murder, and then he has a couple of other places where he collapses, and he has these nightmares about Mandy. And and this was the chemist. And those are done in kind of 80s fantasy animation. So you see these he sees Mandy as this animated character, and kind of as he progresses on the quest, she is altered, and she kind of is like keeps driving him on his revenge quest through this animation. There's the scene from the chainsaw fight. Let me I thought I could find a. Oh, and so here's an example of one of the mats that they did for the. He was on a little ATV that he stole from the one of the biker gang. Like a group of them were just driving ATVs, and then he has a car later. I don't think he's ever on a bike, but he's But so there's one of the like kind of the fantasy side. That might be the last one of the last ones you see. But they're kind of referencing things not being. I just want to find one of the bloody faces of one of the animated scenes. Oh, maybe big. Oh, that's right. There may not be any examples of the animation because she's nude in the animations. There's Bill Duke, still hanging in there, and there's the picture from before. Yeah, so maybe there's no animated examples in their little slideshow because, she's nude in all of his little fantasy images of her. But it's got a really great. I mean, because it doesn't have the kind of taint of cell phones or the internet or anything. It's a real direct, you know, well executed kind of 80s 80s tone to it, and the soundtrack, the Johan Johansson's soundtrack is perfect. It's got a a real dark synthetic tone, so it's all synthesizer tone to it. So kind of the what's very popular now when portraying the 80s, even though I remember the 80s being a lot more analog. But yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I if you're going to get high or take mushrooms or anything watching it, I would be careful because it's got some really disturbing images that you might get really lost. Like, they do a lot to portray the altered states of the characters, and it makes for some really disturbing imagery and things. So it might be a little bit intense. But as far as the plot, the director even said, like, he doesn't care about story. Like, story is just this thing to craft images to find like actors to portray these parts and to craft images to. So the story, I'm not really spoiling anything by going through that whole story, because there isn't really a story arc. After the revenge quest begins, there's not a story arc. You just know exactly what's going to happen, but it's kind of this texture and this like fulfilling this quest that fits the whole fantasy idea of this story. And so the things that they don't explain in it are interesting and make it work very well. And they included some there's deleted scenes that they include here that once you see them, you understand like why they would have filmed them or why they want to explain certain things, but it becomes really unimportant. So they give a lot more to the background and how the local people in the area don't think they're kind of trash and don't care about them and know that they're both kind of broken people. And it undermines, like, those kind of scenes would have really undermined kind of the sweetness and the kind of weird fantasy romance of that beginning establishing the couple, so that then when the biker gang and the cult members show up, it's not such a destroying of this paradise if you got too much like background story about these people are broken and they're only together because nobody else wants them, kind of thing. So I'm glad that they took those scenes out, because getting too much of that information really ruined the tone of it. It brought it much more back down to earth, and these are just real broken people trying to survive. It's better when it becomes this fantasy story of a strange of the red character trying to seek revenge for this like horrible murder that happened to his girl. But but yeah, so it's I would but I would advise against either Beyond the Black Rainbow or this film doing any altered substances. You may or altering yourself in any way, you may be really unhappy with the results. But it's I would definitely recommend seeing it and giving it time. And I'm not sure the runtime on it is 2 hours. Yeah, wow, 2 hours exactly. So it doesn't feel overly long. I mean, because once it starts moving, it progresses pretty well. But each scene is given so much time to kind of set up. Like when he goes and confronts the chemist, you have a really slow scene of moving into that space and this laboratory, and he's got a tiger in a cage, and there's a lot of things that set this set the tone of each scene. And they do some really, especially at the kind of final confrontation, the cult members are in this really bizarre complex of tunnels and kind of underground things, and so you can't even like picture like where that would be or what some of these structures and things would be for. So it works really well as kind of taking you out of it being a real place and it being like in any sort of real time. But yeah, really, really fun. Yeah, definitely. If you wanted to if we can both for the last time in our lives do mushrooms, that would be good. Oh man, yeah, we have to as soon as travel is available between our countries, we should definitely hang out. Oh man, yeah, but it's definitely sorry, I'm losing my voice. Definitely worth seeing. I think as this director kind of progresses, I'll really enjoy like where he gets to, because this film seems much more refined, and the kind of themes and tone are a lot tighter than the Black Rainbow, than Beyond the Black Rainbow. But they still have like his pacing and his imagery. That first film has a lot of amazing sets. Like it takes place in this like institute, this like bizarre, obviously built in the '60s, kind of weird sci-fi looking institute, and that's really beautiful and has really interesting. So it reminds you a lot of like, it's like Stanley Kubrick kind of like 2001 sets, or stuff from the hotel in The Shining or whatever. Maybe the fixed camera and the way that he sets scenes, and those kind of slow tone of things reminded me a little bit of Kubrick in the way he sets scenes. But he's much slower and lets things really get tense. Just with the silence, or the score. The score really makes for a lot of insane tension too. But yeah, really fun trip. It's a really weird trip, and very like, it's just like a fantasy novel, just like a knight's quest in a bizarre fantasy novel against an evil wizard. Like it very much takes, it teases with that. And somebody, when I read something about the film, somebody was saying that the interesting thing that this director does is he elevates B movie kind of like low cinema imagery and concepts to kind of art house or more art film symbolism and imagery. And you kind of see that with, you see the things that he likes, the kind of trashy like Don Doler, or even like the Cheddar Goblin level of bizarre, kind of pop culture artifacts. You see that in his work, and but how they're, he uses those kinds of images. So the Black Skulls kind of murder gang is very Hellraiser esque, and they all look like something from, every member looks like something from a slasher film, and but they don't read as just a reference. The ideas and things are woven really well into the story, and it doesn't feel like, oh, remember this, or isn't this like this, even though I'm describing them by referencing other movies and things. It doesn't feel like that. They don't feel like they're not in part of that world and part of that setting. But really good, yeah, good stuff. And it's hard to believe that it's filmed in Belgium. I don't think you would ever not believe it was in a Canadian production. Nice. Yeah, we got to do. Yeah, oh, well, that would be great. An Abuse Cartoons fan meetup. Oh man, but we'd have to hit both North America and Australia. It'd have to be like a world tour. Oh man. But yeah, so if you're looking for, like, there's only a few like really great Nicolas Cage performances, and this is definitely one of them. This is one of those movies that, like, Raising Arizona, or the David Lynch film. I'm totally blanking. Come on, Nicolas Cage. I don't even want to bother. Yeah, don't even bother going into a Nicolas Cage filmography. Just out of curiosity, how many credits? So 106 credits. So he's made. Oh, just that also includes miniseries though. But as an actor, he's been credited with 106 films. That's insane. Yeah. Yeah, and he makes 4 to 5 movies a year. More recently. What is the yeah, yeah, so Leaving Las Vegas, Raising Arizona, and even the Bad Lieutenant, his performance, Wild at Heart. God damn. Yeah, Sailor Ripley in Wild at Heart is a really great Nicolas Cage performance. Yeah, but even the sequel that they did to Bad Lieutenant in New Orleans, or whatever it was called, he's good in that too. But there's just not such a, there's so much garbage, and it's so funny. It's like, if you are a fan of him, or Vampire's Kiss, right? Yeah, that's another insane performance. I like that movie because you're not ever sure if he just thinks, thinks they're vampires or there actually are vampires in that movie. Nice. Yeah, Vampire's Kiss. 88. Jeez. Wow. Okay. Well, that was an exhaustive ramble, but I would definitely recommend. Let's go back. I would definitely recommend Mandy. The It's just worth it to see that kind of fantasy story told in that way. Like it is a quest, and it is a revenge story, and just the way that it resolves is really interesting and satisfying, and it has like a weird happy ending, but like as you saw, like he is so altered by that point. Like what happens to that character after that? Like he is totally altered and broken. But yeah, good stuff. All right. Well, I think I've done as much damage as I can. But yeah, and like I said, I think I saw that it was on Shudder. Or at least it's one of the production credits was Shudder. So double check if that's the easiest way to find it online, or maybe the cheapest way to find it online. But yeah, so Mandy, a long rant about Mandy. So yeah, let's do that for next time. The Lighthouse, I think, would be a good film for next. Yeah, so the Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe, Robert Eggers film. Yeah, so black and white. Is it? It's also like in 4:3 or something, isn't it? There's something other. There's something else technically strange about the movie, but yeah, Memento. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I saw that in the theater actually. I love um, what's his name? Joey Pants. I can't think of what the actors. Pantaleone. Joe Pantaleone's character in that, the manipulative. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if he's his partner. His partner is a detective or whatever. Yeah, his role is really good in that. Yeah, but Momentum is really fun. And the whole, because that was, I think Memento was out around that same time of Pulp Fiction. So you had the movies telling their stories out of order, and for like more mainstream movies, that was a weird thing. So yeah, Memento being totally told backwards, and then Pulp Fiction being told like weirdly out of order. I remember both of those movies at that time being like, oh right, it's a weird new way to tell stories. Oh, Tremors, yeah. That is a great, I don't know, like monster movie. Yeah, Tremors is really good, and surprisingly, like it holds up too. It's not one of those movies where when it was out, people are like, oh, that was fun, that was new, that felt interesting. It like still works, like the pacing and everything, and the comedy, and even in that movie still works really well. They made a ton of sequels though, didn't they? Like direct to video sequels for Tremors. All right, yeah. So let's do that next week. Yes, yeah, 2004. Oh man, a long time ago. Yeah, but with that, a lot. That's the thing with a lot of the like Christopher Nolan stuff. Like the first time you see it, it's novel and really fun. It's enjoyable, and I think that idea. I like that idea of someone with a short-term memory loss has no guilt. So that the perfect assassin, because they will not dwell on killing innocent people because they'll never remember it. So they're a perfect person into confusing to commit murders for you. So convince them that someone's killed their wife, and they need to seek revenge, and then just point them. They're this perfect weapon to just point at whoever you want, because they'll never confess it. They'll never turn on you. They'll never go to the police because they just never remember anything they did long enough for it to have any negative consequence. All right. Oh, nice. Wow. Very cool. Yeah, well, thank you everyone for watching this long ramble. Yeah, I'm wondering maybe we should start like a Discord or something for when we do that. Because yeah, maybe I'm just like I feel like I'm just rambling nonsensically, but it'd be fun to have more of a discussion because I'm trying to keep an eye on chat, but sometimes I just get rolling with trying to remember events in the story or whatever. For a movie, maybe we should for the movie part, like I'll turn on Discord and we can kind of go into a little room and then talk a little bit more than not just have me like describe something. But that would be fun. Yeah, something. We'll have to improve this in some way. And yeah, luckily I didn't screw up and get the stream taken down this week because of the trailer. That worked much better. Maybe having it in a window too helped. But yeah, secret window. Yeah, I'm trying to blocking on that, but that will do it for. Oh, right. The Johnny Depp movie. Yeah, he's a writer. Yeah, the writer. They've done that a couple. Oh, that was a Stephen King novel. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I remember that. But yeah. So everybody take care. And so next week, The Lighthouse. So here, let me move some Mandy and go back to The Lighthouse. I'm just using IMDb. Yeah, so for so for next week we'll talk about The Lighthouse. I think it's gonna be a rough. Oh, it's the director. Yeah, the director of The Witch. Yeah, I really like The Witch too. That was really disturbing and well done. But yeah, very cool. Okay, so good night, everyone, and thanks for hanging in there. This was a long one. Yeah, almost 4 hours. And next week, The Lighthouse. I think there's like bizarre accents in The Lighthouse. So if anybody had to drop off, sorry about that. Sorry if I didn't see your disappearance. But everybody have a good night and stay safe, and hopefully we'll keep getting to do this as much as possible. So abusecartoons.com is the website, and you can follow on Twitter at Abuse Cartoons, and then also Twitch and YouTube. There are channels where this stream is archived. So I'll see you next week with some more cartoons, something more from convenience stores, and some unique performances in The Lighthouse. All right, so take care, everybody. See you next time. Goodbye.